what's nice?
Oh, Dark Souls 2 was the high point of the old channel.
Oh, yeah.
That was like the most frustrating piece of work I ever did. Ever. I wanted to die.
In retrospect, that was a good place for me to start on that franchise, I think.
Which is baffling, right?
But it turns out in the end that 2's a good starter.
Yeah, do 2, then 1, then the spin-off,
because
then
it just
3.
gets weird from there, right? It just gets weirder and like, okay, 1 mechanically had some clunks and some bunks, but like but there was cooler shit happening,
dude. I didn't even realize this until I went back and played the remastered version, but all the other games afterwards had omnidirectional rolling.
Oh,
and
right.
1 didn't.
Right.
And when I played 1, I didn't think a thing of it. Of course, left, right, forward, back. And then you go back to it after the others, and you're like, oh my god, it's so bad. It's so bad to only... Because you always want to roll diagonal to the right or diagonal to the left.
It's kind of interesting. I wonder what a game that... Well, I was going to say a game with, like, tighter control over your actions, but similar difficulty. Yeah. And it's like, well, then you just have to kind of do like Ninja Gaiden, basically, right? You just make it so that, like, you can do anything, but so can they. And they're moving faster, and then you just get character action. Where either everyone is slow and limited, or everyone is hyper and fast.
Well, because Monster Hunter has more control over your actions, but it's just as slow and just as clunking.
But also, Monster Hunter has you're working away on one thing.
Yeah.
Crowd control doesn't really
matter.
Yeah,
Monster Hunter has a highly laser-focused idea of what that game is.
And it just builds around that and that exclusively. Indeed, it does. Which is, of course, to convert those monster movesets into cards.
Yes.
For use on the Teppen.
Yes.
Which I played a little bit more of.
Oh, yeah?
I mean... not much else to say, but I unlocked the spiky boy just to see what was going on, and I was like, yeah, that seems like a really easy way to win.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The Nergigante, he takes the damage and then he gives it back to you. So
that's good.
But yeah. So Jojo did finish, and
it's over.
I don't really personally feel like... don't have to really do a spoiler cast on that. Don't have to go top to bottom on it. But I have thoughts, and I have and especially I have thoughts specifically on the finale because it's so different from every other.
It's very different,
and because it took so many people by surprise. And I'm kind of just sitting back going like, yeah, motherfuckers didn't know about them rocks, but here we are. So pretty much just gonna do a Sleeping Slaves cast is what I see us getting into a little bit later in this preamble.
I have one non-ish spoilery thing to say about the finale, which is more about Giorno's character. I don't believe that the way that Giorno is at the end of that story is appropriate for the ending of a protagonist. I think that set of abilities is wildly inappropriate for the hero of your story. It's too mean.
Well, two things. Well, there's multiple things, and should we just start with it then?
Yeah, fuck it.
All right, so we're gonna start talking about JoJo Part 5, Vento Oreo, the Golden Wind. If you haven't seen the finale, we're gonna
Pissing
be going
in the
into
wind.
that.
That's what it is.
And I'm going to not go further into the parts. I'm gonna just keep it.
Yeah, keep it 5.
Keep it 5. I'm gonna keep it 5. Great. So, the story ends like
at the beginning,
5 minutes into the second to last episode.
Yeah.
Right?
It's instantaneous.
And everyone goes, wait, what? Because the story was actually over like before the hiatus went.
Yeah.
Right? The moment Gold Experience Requiem punches you, you are done.
Yeah.
You now no longer have a timeline to return to. The cut that King Crimson does, this is the cut that happens at the end point where you delete the rest of the video.
Yeah.
And then you just loop the last one infinity as if an exe file has an exception, and then it just keeps...
And it plays that awful sound effect going...
Right? So that's when the actual story was done, and what we were waiting on those 2 weeks or 3 weeks for was just like, okay, what does it look like when that happens? And more importantly, what is the deal with this epilogue chapter?
Yeah.
So to answer your question right off the bat, like, it wasn't a question, but the way Giorno ends up is he ends up with god level abilities, right, hanging out. But here is the rub. Gold Experience Requiem does not actually tell Giorno what it does.
Yeah, I know.
Giorno himself has no idea what happened to Diavolo.
Yeah.
Just
knows in his heart.
The stand tells Diavolo directly, this is what's happening to you.
Yeah.
But once that time is done and we return to normal time, Giorno has no idea what took place.
I punched him and he just took it. It was weird. He just
All he knows is he has a strong new stand and he can feel something conclusive has happened.
Yeah.
But he doesn't exactly know what his stand does, and that's probably for the best. Because as we've seen with both examples, Requiem is the ability to edit reality for reals.
Yeah.
Right? So the other thing, of course, is like the note it ends on with him being the gangstar getting kissed on the ring. It's like, yeah, man, this is like, at the end of the day, he still is that boy that stole Koichi's luggage and drove off. You know what I mean?
Apparently, I was talking to somebody and they say that how do we get from the end to that? And apparently he just tells everybody, yeah, I was the boss the whole time.
Well, that's okay. So here's the thing.
That's from Purple Haze.
Everyone is so. From what I understand, like, I don't. Is that confirmed? Because I don't know if that's confirmed. But the active theory most people had was he probably just said, "Yeah, it was me." Right?
It was me the whole time.
Because and that leads into Diavolo's actual like demise, where the whole anticlimactic feeling that you might have gotten. I feel like I like Sleeping Slaves a lot as an epilogue because I like what I feel it means. Mm-hmm. And this is the part where Wooly might just be going and fapping in his own head.
Okay, let's hear the fap.
But
I want to hear it.
I think I like to in my head, like, I'm like, Eric, he probably had a reason why he wanted to end the story on this note. Mm-hmm. You know? So yeah, okay, if Purple Haze feedback does confirm that that's what he did, then that's cool. And yes, the whole thing takes place in a week, right? I saw that. But
the whole thing takes place in a week?
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, so
it's a rough week.
Part 1 is like fucking literally years spanning
like 10 years.
I mean, it's from childhood to adulthood and beyond, right? From childhood to marriage. You know?
Part 2's maybe a month, maybe 2 months.
It's that during the war, it's that period of time.
Part 3 has an explicit 30-day time limit.
50 plus a couple of...
Oh, 50, that's it,
You would have got that question wrong on Jojo Jeopardy.
Oh, whatever.
And
4 is...
4 is also
nebulous.
A short period of time, but like nothing like the literal 1 week.
The problem with 4 is that in between each little adventure, there's no explanation of how much time has passed since the last one.
Yeah, it's 1999 Bizarre Summer.
Yeah.
So you get your June, July, August out of that, and then here we get a fucking week in Italy, you know. So Sleeping Slaves, right? The story just starts out, and at first you're like, we're seeing a flashback to the boys. So there's a point to it in that, like, especially because Fugo got it so rough being fucking ejected out of the story. Yeah. Right?
He ejected himself.
The fact that, like, that you get to have a moment where you come back and see them together is meant to be, like, that type of send-off. Yeah. But then it's more than just them. Like, if they wanted it to just be that, they would have just ended it with them eating around the table, and it would have been like, remember the good old days? Ending, right? But they decided to go into an actual arc that lasts an episode and a half. Yeah. Right? They meet Scolopi, basically the Jesus, right? He's got the crown of thorns on his head, and he's got his stand, the Rolling Stones, which, God bless, I love that we're getting all these really influential bands making a different, like, that matter, you know?
You mean Crawling Stones, or whatever the fuck they called it?
I don't give a shit. It's the Rolling Stones, man. So, you walked in here with a question, and the question was, did Mista
kill Narancia and Abakio?
and everybody explicitly by his course of action? And the answer is yes and no at the same time, right? And like in terms of the deliberates of the question, it's like that stone shows up based on Final Destination rules.
Yeah.
When it's your time, right? It was Bruno's time, or at the very least, he was showed to be next.
He was going to die by the end of the week, no matter fucking what.
And the death that we saw within the stone is King Crimson ripping a fucking hole in his body.
Yeah.
Right?
Which totally did happen anyway.
That is where you are fated to go.
Yeah.
The stone, of course, is like if you accept the stone, then you can die now, stop peacefully, but you can reject it and die and suffer, right?
Yeah.
Mista goes through as much trouble as he can to basically get that to not happen.
Yeah.
And then by touching it, creates that chain of events where now the thing's going to follow you. Now it's going to do things differently. And of course, the stand user himself doesn't fully understand it. However, if you destroy the Rolling Stones, it's shown that like you can't escape fate. It's still the dust itself is going to show you the faces of those who are next, who are now the fucking Passione gang, right? The thing about that is, well, for one, I mean, it's like, did he kill them? Well, it's like, if he didn't kill them and Bruno died in that church, then the rest were going to die when King Crimson came out to wipe out everybody who knew about his daughter. So that was a guarantee, right? That was not going to, they were not making they were not going to make it out of that anyway. But the second thing is that I think the point of putting that there is to just double down on like a part of there's a lot of things that you can assume are the thesis statement of what Journo is, but like I feel like a lot of what I wanted and why I was disappointed in part 5 ultimately was because I wanted more of the struggle of what it means to be Dio's son, to be
which leaves right away.
And they gave me one bone in that new intro where he turns and he's got the fucking he's got the hands out, and I was like, oh, you got it in there. All right, you did that. I like that, but that I wanted more of that struggle in there, right? But at the same time, the whole idea of fate versus like your will to fight against it, which is obviously an ongoing thing. With Journo, in this case, it's like your literal bloodline, you know, like is also something that you don't even know that you're coming from, like evil.
You're coming from like 200 years of cursed blood,
and you don't and like. The idea that like he's gonna go against that without even really knowing that's what's happening, I think is a big part of what his character is supposed to be. So he's challenging that, right? When you look at, actually, let me switch gears because I want to talk about this first before coming back to that.
Go for it.
Diavolo, right? His ending and what he gets hit with is so unfair and brutal, right? It's like no one deserves to get it that hard.
I think Journo having a power that puts people, anyone ever in the future that he ever deals with, into an infinite nightmare death loop is horrible.
It's almost like Purple Haze, but worse.
Yeah.
Where that stand is overkill for the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what if some generic assassin dickbag attacks him in the future and just gets that?
One would hope that Purple Haze itself is aware enough to not make people suffer internally for that sin, you know. But nonetheless, the way Diavolo gets it, you're like, that's Cars ad infinitum.
Yeah, because Cars gets to stop thinking.
At least Cars stops thinking. Therefore, we can rest assured that he has a moment, no matter how long it took him, where he's at peace.
Yeah.
For all the things he did.
But also, even if not, he's not in a permanent state of nightmare, infinite agony.
Yeah.
He's just really bored.
Yeah. So now here's the thing, you can argue that stimulation might make it better.
I don't know, man.
Continued stimulation, even in the form of torture, might make it better than zero.
I don't think that's...
It's a wild...
I don't think when you look at fucking Diavolo, like, pretty much shitting his pants looking at a little girl, you can think that's better.
It's bad, no matter how you slice it. But until proven otherwise, it's safe to assume that is fucking the worst way you can go in JoJo, right? Now, while that is like not equivalent to his sins in a way, there is still a thing to think about where it's like it is fitting of it is fitting of what he represents to get it's a comeuppance for what he represents. As
he represents
to what he
absolute control over fate, or like
he represents. Let's remember his origin point. He came from a 2-year pregnancy.
Yes, he
Okay.
did.
In a
that
prison,
happened.
and then when he was found by a priest growing up in a village where he meets some lady who's probably Trisha's mom. The priest goes in to help him out and finds that mom with her mouth sewn shut under his floorboards.
Yeah.
And goes, "What the fuck is happening?" Hard cut to the village burns down.
Whole
and,
village.
And everyone in it.
Yeah.
Right? He has a shitty beginning, and then he sees that as his victory over that.
Yeah.
And then he also gets with the cards, and by finding the arrow, he calls the arrow his prize for conquering his fate, right?
Yeah.
So his whole thing is almost basically like, the things that I get are what I deserve, and this is what I have coming to me, and no one else deserves it. He talks about
Fate's for me.
It's for me. It's his thing. It's all coming from this place of it's mine to control, and I will do what I will with it. And like what happened back there? Nothing. Don't worry about it. Right? You don't know who I am. It doesn't matter. It's all about my thing.
Yeah.
When you basically take away, when you look at it and you go like, okay, fate's his to control. He's like, he's determined to have that as his big whole fucking obsession.
Yeah.
Every one of those shit kids all had a shitty upbringing as well.
Oh yeah.
They all had garbage, fucking trash.
Oh yeah.
Childhoods that led them to the place they're at. But the difference is that they are choosing to still do the right thing and
not be psycho murderers
with what they did. So basically, the cards we got dealt are not the cards we're gonna have to stick with.
Yeah,
we're gonna do what we can. Otherwise,
you are more than your nonsensical 2-year pregnancy.
And fucking Diavolo's like, no, this is all we are, and this is all I want, and I'm going to make it so.
I can't believe that was never gone into once ever.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Like
it's like every
what the actual shit.
Like every like crazy monster villain or whatever from just weird ass pregnancy is when it all starts. But regardless, those characters all had their own shit and they go against it. So they exist and they're like, fuck you, we had bad shit too, right? Whatever, right? Second, of all the people that exist with their powers or whatever, the one who he fucking personally goes and punches through the fucking chest is the guy whose stand is like, hey, look, what happened back there? Nothing. What happened back there? Nothing. I'm going to use my stand. You can't escape reality.
Yeah.
Right? Reality is what happens in the past. It exists, and Moody Blues will always show you what happened no matter what.
Yeah.
And Diavolo is like, King Crimson, wipe, delete. No, that didn't happen.
But it did happen.
But you can't, it's here, right? And so he hates the past, and he hates that aspect of things, and thus he would absolutely loathe something like Moody Blues being against him, because it's like his whole fucking paranoia about his identity and everything. Mm-hmm. This one stand is about you not letting you escape from the things that happened, right? Mm-hmm. So when Giorno basically gives him that little speech at the end about how reality is the only truth of this world, it's a very vague sort of heroish statement, but the way I took that is him basically giving him the deal that it's like, you can't and then he says reality is the only truth of this world, and he says the deaths that the previous members had up to this point will have a meaning because their will carries on in me, so you can choose to interpret it that way, but your death will have no meaning ultimately because you will not have a reality.
He also doesn't live for anything.
You live, and you will have no reality, and no one will know, and you will just be nothing, right? So in that sense, someone who's obsessed with seizing fate to the point of editing it in the moment and denying the past now gets to have no future.
Yeah, it's
regardless
extra,
of what his
it's
sins
extra
were.
Goofy because he doesn't have an ending. Even his fate doesn't conclude; it just stops.
Yeah, it's not even it's like you are robbed of any conclusion. It's the final act indefinitely over and over. to no end.
So
right?
I knew that he got it that bad, but what I didn't know... See, what I had assumed when somebody said that fucking Gold Experience Requiem returns him to 0 upon the moment of his death,
Yeah.
I had assumed that he would be trapped in a time loop of him getting beat to death by Gold Experience Requiem. I did not expect him to be
what
teleporting.
happens when you wiki dive it.
I was not expecting him to be teleporting
Yeah.
to alternate realities to get Final Destination.
He will die in every conceivable way, including on the operating table, unable to move, and so on and so forth. The first one is like the most horrifying I can think of.
Well, the first one is real.
Sorry, the second one.
Yeah, the first one is real, and it's also appropriate.
Yeah.
Because he gets stabbed by some crazy drug addict that
Yeah.
he created.
Right.
Ha 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 ha.
Yes. And then the rest just plays out. But like you can't
Second
move
one's
on
the
the
worst.
operating table.
Yeah, second one's totally the worst
And that's
one.
a tone setter for where the rest of that goes. Because when he's quivering, it's like, yeah, because he just went through
Yeah, the bad.
the worst one you can possibly imagine, right? Will there be snoo in there? Yes, there will be a snoo.
There will be guaranteed. There will be infinite snoo by definition.
Right.
I remember,
But the whole point. Sorry, go ahead.
I remember somebody mentioning that due to the goofy nature of what's implied, that might continue infinitely, regardless of all other circumstances.
Yeah, I don't know.
Double infinite.
I don't know.
Could you imagine?
That's why I said we're going to stop
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
right? However, one thing is that with all that, we can look back and go, thus the point of Passione, right? The real Passione, whatever, the Gangstar Squad,
Yeah.
is to like defy his whole thing, say that where you came from doesn't determine where you're going.
Yeah.
And ultimately to show you as well through like Bruno basically and Giorno fucking with literally what fate says needs to happen.
Yeah.
He's like, nah, we're not done yet. We're still on this mission.
Mm-hmm.
And Bruno like pretty much figures out, he's like, oh, I'm a fucking zombo.
Yeah.
But I don't care because this is more important.
And the thing with Rolling Stone does put a cap on, like, hey, how come Bruno got to be a weird zombie? And it's because his fate was defied.
It was defied. You broke the Final Destination rule. And on top of that, you had an asshole like Giorno
This man
binding
Jesus
you
shit.
together,
Yeah.
right? Like that's the whole thing. And your determination,
Yeah.
right? Like your drive and your will to just keep that shit going. So, all of that adds up, and then it's like, yeah, like everybody shit on Fugo for not wanting to follow a literal zombie,
Yeah.
to his annihilation. You know, like fuck. But anyway, so defying the odds,
Why didn't
etc.
Fugo just go into the church and just fill it up with evil death gas and the whole place?
Yeah.
Just fill the whole place up with death gas.
Also, the fact that they are willing to sacrifice their own lives on a heartbeat to make sure that they can save each other,
Yeah.
which is what Scolopi sees. Goes like, I hope that they can,
Yeah.
like, twist this cursed fate around. I hope they're not sleeping slaves, but
Yeah.
they wake up and do what they will with their own, destinies. So when Rolling Stones enters the picture, it's just a way of Araki basically going, in addition to them being fucked, right, from just King Crimson and Diavolo being that much more insane of an ability,
Yeah.
in addition to them having all the odds against them in life, and in addition to them having zero information to go on,
They're also explicitly fated to lose.
they were, before they even met Giorno, they were double fucked.
Yeah.
Right? Rolling Stones existing on its own is equally as bad as every other thing that happened to them in the story. Right? So all the weight they were carrying was twice as hard.
Yeah.
They were super gonna die no matter what, which Mista is still fated to die.
Yeah.
Right? And of course the way you exploit Rolling Stones is by, if you don't show up, you can do things crazy and stay alive, whatever.
Yeah.
But regardless, it was just to say, and despite those double odds, they still made it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of meant to just be like you didn't know it, but the whole time it was even worse, and they still succeeded.
Man, Fugo sucks.
Fugo
sucks ass.
Am I wrong about Mista being fated to die?
Yeah, you were super wrong. I don't
Why
know
is
what
that?
you're-
Why is
He's
that?
never fated to die. His face never appears.
He touches it. Let me pull that up on the stone. because I thought his face was on the
No. It's Bruno, and then when it snaps, it's Bruno, Narancia, and Abakio. Mista was actually totally fated to live.
Okay. Why does Fugo suck?
Because he's quit.
Yeah.
He fucking quit.
But like again, think about it. One,
you can delete fights from the story if Fugo had tagged along.
I need to actually read Purple Haze feedback so I can catch his entire like the whole thing where they explore what and why, because that's what it's about.
Yeah.
It's about Fugo explaining his mentality, right? And it's also about Giorno giving him another shot.
Now I understand that he had a stand ability that could never be used in any of the locations they ever fought.
Too OP. Way too OP.
But not even like too OP. Like, let's say it's not that OP, but he could never, ever, ever, like all the fucking stories fights take place in Venice or Rome or big crowded locations surrounded by people.
Like almost like Chocolata, same deal, except Chocolata doesn't give a fuck, right?
Yeah. It's like, I beat you, stand user. I also killed like 100 babies. Oops.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not great. That's not great. And of course, what I'm happy about too is people immediately, like everyone who already read part 5 was bursting at the seams, holding back the part where the beginning of Fighting Gold at the foot of the statue, Rolling Stones is in the background.
And it's
really
even the
dark.
It's even the gross one with the
face. It's the Bruno version. You have to up the brightness to see the face on it, right?
I can see it on my TV.
Okay.
Right now. Yeah.
And then again in
the outro.
Future Crusaders.
Yeah, you see the regular rock.
You see it on, but you see the sphere exactly, which then gets edited to make sure you understand. So no, you've been looking at it the whole time, and then Mista sees another rock at the end that makes him think of it.
The goofiest thing is that when you talked about the Rolling Stone, I don't know, 6 weeks ago, that they got it in there. I thought what you were referring to is when they beat Requiem. I thought that was the orb behind your head that casts the shadow.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, that's pretty crazy.
The light shining?
Yeah.
No. It's
depicted as an orb.
Yeah, no. So that's a wild one. But I was hard talking about Rolling Stones.
Yeah, I know that now.
At the foot of the statue, at the foot of both statues.
Yeah.
Right? And one of those things where you're just like, I can't talk about it till you get there.
Yeah.
No one even knows that they should be looking for a sphere.
Yeah.
You know?
Spheres are bad. Cube's good.
Not to mention, one of the fun parts about the 7th stand user is that you encounter the Rolling Stones, and it moves like one space every time you move a space. But it will follow you through rooms, and it will follow you through walls, and it is there across. If you touch it, it follows you the entire game, and if it gets to you, you're dead. Like there's a whole fucking thing, and there's an escape point when you encounter it, but it's a lot of fun that they did that. Yeah, so that's it. I think the point of Sleeping Slaves was to just show you that the weight was it was weighted clothing.
Yeah.
Right? In addition to the struggle, and they still made it. So yeah, man. God bless. Good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Just because it falls short, in my opinion, it's just because I enjoy the other JoJo parts more, doesn't mean this is the bad part, because it's still really
Now
good.
that I've fully experienced 5, yeah, it's probably my least favorite. But
JoJo's bar is super high.
It's just because I feel there's a lot of little missed opportunities.
The promise of a child of Dio and Jonathan, right, is really, really interesting to explore. And I feel like I was waiting for that, and I never really got it.
You just got little tiny.
You got the
glimpses.
and you got the poses. And you got things where he goes like, when someone said like, what if like Giorno represents what if Dio was a good person, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like, what does he share? He shares the ambition, right?
Yeah.
Wherever my circumstances are, I want to make it to the top. It's like, yes, but at the same time, like, you could have led more of Dio's personality into him, or you could have made it more of a struggle.
You could have,
or you could have even had the Jonathan aspects of his personality.
You could have had him be the exact same character, except that his goals are noble. Like the exact same person, like just dirt, but I want to save the city from drugs.
I mean, again, I don't know.
I also felt that, like, probably the biggest weirdo part to me of the whole part that really muddled it for me is something I think I asked you like 2 months ago, which was I walked in here and went, "Is Bruno the main character?" And you just kind of shrugged, and you're like,
he should be. Because that's the other thing. And when you said, like, Giorno could be the same, that's where I go, I disagree with that, because, to be honest, like, Giorno is not as compelling.
Giorno's not, like, Bruno's backstory is so much better than Dio.
There's a blog literally called a Giorno Smile Every Day, and they're all just him with resting bitch face, because he doesn't really smile, you know? And that's fine, ultimately. But I'm not saying he needs to be a taunter like Dio is, but he needs more personality. I felt like he reminded me of, like, a kind of like a blank slate type of character.
Yeah, a little bit.
Which is not what any other JoJo is, you know? Even when they're at their most quiet, there's still overwhelming amounts of burning something inside.
Like, Jotaro is a
whether it's burning honor, nobility, you know, whether it's burning go fuck yourself, right? Whether it's burning just smoldering anger, or, like, smugness, you know, like, it's all, there's something in there that's going.
Like,
and
Jotaro is a actual blank, like, his face is just always emotionless, but even him, you can tell that underneath that there's a lot going on. He's actually a pretty nice guy. He cares about his people. He's not very emotional outward, right? But with Giorno, it's just like, I kind of felt he was just waiting to say, "Oh, you did a good job, mister, getting shot all those times."
Having a dream is not enough, you know? That's the start of something interesting, and then you got to take it from there. And I think Bruno, like,
Bruno is like, his backstory perfectly sets him up to conflict with Diavolo.
Yeah, to do what he does. He does. Yeah, so,
you know, hide in this room and stab anyone that comes at my dad.
And I mean, like, Jotaro, like, even though he was also just the stoic silent type, he has the bit which is like, I'm so stoic and silent that that's going to be the punchline in multiple occasions, where it's just like, the only reason you lost is because you pissed me off. Did you seriously say that? You know?
I think the absolute, like, because Jotaro doesn't show a lot of his personality, right? He does he writes the check to Steely Dan, and which is pretty great. He
tells the other person to say something cool.
Yeah. He yells at his mom, but then he's like, "Oh, you doing okay?" And Holly sees through it, stuff like that. But I think the number one thing that we got to see, like, who is Jotaro, is in 4 when he encounters Kira and he throws down a line about, he's got a nice looking watch, but I'll break it so you can't tell time. I mean your face. Your
face, that is.
And it doesn't hit at all. It's a terrible line.
And then he does it again.
He just does a different version of the same line.
Yada, yada.
Which is like, oh my god. While every fight in Stardust Crusaders, he's fighting, but in the back of his mind, he's like, oh, I gotta say something really cool about justice, or like...
Well, now here's the bit, right? When you think about it, he does the same thing. Every Joestar has a moment early on where you have to define what they're about, right?
Yeah.
And this is the right thing to do with any new story where you're learning your new character, and you want to find out, particularly in JoJo, you're always going, what makes you a unique Joestar compared to the last set, right?
Yeah.
And right off the bat, you establish Jonathan by looking at the way he treats, like, saving Erina.
He's the ultimate chivalrous hero.
And then Erina is like, oh my god, my hero. And he's like, it wasn't for you. It was for being a gentleman and for honor.
And then he turns and goes, and
right.
runs away.
And then Joseph has his moment where he's in the plane, and then he's like, let's crash this fucking plane, because I'm not going to deal with your stupid shit, you criminals. right? And then also a Tommy gun.
Yeah.
So he sets himself up as like just a wild hard ass that's completely opposite of what we just saw.
Yeah.
You know, and so for Jotaro, it's when he does his judge speech against Kakyoin. He's like, because the law and the victims and our society, like, you can hide from them with your stand. Therefore, my stand will be the judge. And he goes off on that whole bit. That's his like establishing my character moment. And Giorno has those.
I totally agree with Jotaro, except for one thing. The moment that I like, because I watched the old OVA and I thought Jotaro was cool, but when I watched the new anime, there's the one line he says in that judgment speech that just kills me inside. It makes me love him so much.
When I hate the food, I stiff the bill.
It's so specific because he's like, listen, I might be a bad guy when I leave without paying all the time. And it's like, that's Jotaro's baseline for being a bad person.
You're a scumbag, basically. Yeah. Like, you'd think that, like, on appearance, Josuke would be the type, you know, but like he's like, nah, let's like go hustle these lotto tickets, right?
Yeah.
But like Jotaro straight up is like, fuck that food, I'm out.
This food is terrible. I'll smoke in public. Ooh.
I will yell at my fangirls, right? And anyway.
I'm such a badass. Like, you can hear him saying it, like, I'm so fucking cool and tough. It's like, oh man.
He really goes over the top to make sure he appears cool at all times.
Meanwhile, he's hanging out with the horse girl in the back of the class doodling dolphins.
Yes. So, Giorno Giovanna has a dream, but like and he has charisma.
Yeah.
He has it. That's what leads everyone to follow him. But then it kind of stops a little bit, you know? Yeah. And, I mean, his blood and his determination take him far enough, and it's fine. But yeah, that's kind of. I wanted more of a struggle with Dio's elements playing into him.
You totally nailed it for me. The story tells you he's the most charismatic guy, and everyone's like, "There's just something about him. I gotta follow him." But Bruno is actually displaying way more charisma.
Yeah. And like when I think about that compared to like the speech that Dio gives, where he's talking to either who was it? It was Kakyoin or Polnareff. It was Kakyoin, where he convinces him to his side or whatever. Yeah. And like Kakyoin sees him for the first time, and he's like, I was fucking terrified, to the point where when he kind of showed up behind me and just went, hey man, let's be friends. He's like, I was so relieved. Like, oh, thank God. Yeah, anything. Because otherwise I'm just dead. You know? Yeah. So, like, that kind of moment really shows you what that charisma thing is about. You know? And, like, yeah, you're watching Bruno demonstrate it 100%. That's the Golden Wind, you know?
It's good.
But also, the Golden Wind is also literally the wind that blows as Bruno goes to heaven. Yeah. It literally turns gold, and then he pulls the fucking arrow out of it and does this bit.
Can we take a JoJo tangent here? It's been established that if you're really close to somebody, you get to see their ghost leave.
Yes.
And talk to you.
Yes.
And all sorts of shit.
Oh, yes. Also, bloodlines allow you to sense when your family members are nearby.
Which, I thought it was silly when it got introduced, except it has been totally a mainstay of the whole series the whole time. The whole time. Yep. But more than anything, all I can think of is, what happened with Joseph back in the day? His ghost was like, Jotaro, I'm a dead-ass old man ghost, and I'm going to heaven. You gotta beat Dio. Okay, bye. And then evaporated into heaven. And then, like an hour later, he came back to life with vampire blood.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
You don't question Araki is the answer to that. You don't question that.
And then later,
you know what it was? He didn't get the little cherub baby angels.
Oh, shut up. That's stupid.
The little cherubs around Bruno are how you know he's gone for good.
And then later, Jotaro has the audacity to tell Josuke there's nothing anyone can do to save the dead once their soul has departed their body.
Not to mention Joseph having the audacity to be like, "Ah, Dio, it's me," and Jotaro is like, "I will rip you to pieces, old man." What?
Talk to me about Weird Al.
Did Weird Al sing? Well, like, yeah, who sung the song "Eat It" instead of "Beat It"? You know, and it's like, it's just a prank, bro. It's just a prank.
Why?
What a.
This is minutes after Polnareff's near death, Kakyoin's death, Avdol's death, Iggy's death, and he's like, ha ha ha.
This too was a question on Jojo Jeopardy.
He can't turn it off.
Fuck you, Joseph. You goddamn. Anyway, God bless. Yeah. It's silly shit. I was gonna say that. Oh yeah, no, just that last, like, shout outs to David Production and everybody out in the JoJo team, because they did a final variant intro for 2 episodes.
Yep.
Immediately followed by the last one that was the sound effects version, just to say they did them all.
Yeah.
They never missed a sound effect version, and they never missed a beat on it. But for literally just that 1 week, you got to see the undoing of King Crimson, and then the rewind of the song, and then it goes back into the chorus. Like, super chill. Really, really nice with that.
Well, it's because that takes place, there's like, Gold Experience is like a flash. Like, it's there and it's over.
Yeah. He takes back the intro, and he does the most Dragon Ball thing in JoJo, outside of Koichi's hair literally going Super Saiyan.
You know what? That's the other thing that actually kind of bummed me out. Once the arrow got introduced and it was a race to the arrow, I'm like, the hero winning because the hero becomes stronger than the villain is unsatisfying to me.
In most cases.
Like, even over, like, they just wanted it more. Like, Jonathan just wanted it more than Dio did on that boat. Joseph is an asshole. And him winning out of luck is more, like, fun to me than, the fucking Eyes of Heaven LP that we did. We both groaned when it's like, oh, Star Platinum can also do the...
Also, Jonathan didn't only want it more. He specifically created, in my like, coming up with the questions and going back over my research, he specifically created that circumstance. He punches Wang Chan's head off.
Yeah.
And then forces his body with the ripple to grab the gears of the boat and crush it. So he created that entire scenario.
Yeah, because he wanted it more.
Yeah. And then
he was willing to foresee a win that included his own death.
Yeah. Joseph bullshits with the redstone, as you said. He didn't win.
Yeah.
He just didn't lose.
Yeah.
Yeah, Josuke gets...
Jotaro gets the same power, but he's not better. He's not stronger than Dio at it. He's actually way weaker, but he outsmarts him. Josuke and the gang outsmart Kira.
And his powers are fucking nuts. And here's the thing. Here's why it's satisfying. They don't actually win against him in the sense that he survives that encounter where he's fully outsmarted, but then bullshit luck comes into play. You know? So that's fine, because it's like you lost what mattered.
But then Giorno goes Super Saiyan and is the winner.
Yes.
Because he's stronger.
Yeah.
And it's like, I get because fate, it's a thing, but still it's like, no.
Yeah. I mean, Jonathan's the only one that really just takes it.
Yeah.
Like, definitively takes it.
And then he doesn't definitively take it later.
Yeah. And then we won't talk about the future. You know, it's really kind of wild how, like, a lot of these endings end up being like, yeah, you didn't win, you just didn't lose.
Yeah.
You know, because really you did give the enemy god power.
Yeah.
And they're gonna use it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, 2 coffins. What are you gonna what?
There was a false bottom in the coffin, and they threw the coffin back in the ocean.
Even George Joestar didn't win. It's like, you found the Nazis of Vampire. You found the last of Dio's brood. Congratulations. Now you're fucking dead. Lisa, though. All right.
Jojo spoiler cast over?
Sleeping Slaves cast.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Over.
Great.
You put a timestamp in there if you like. Or not. Whatever.
How's your week?
I took the week off from streaming last week because I restarted my computer. It was acting a little goofy. And then So the PC says it will not boot because I have a CPU temperature error. I'm like, huh? And then I go into the boot, the BIOS, and my CPU is running at 62 degrees before the computer's even fully on. And I go, that's not good. So then I boot it.
Celsius.
Oh, yeah. I boot it, and I'm like, oh, this is idling at 65 to 70. Idle. And then I'm like, Then I load up like Monster Hunter, 100, instant. As soon as the fucking thing turns on. And I'm like, okay. No OBS for this computer this week. Turned out the pump died on
That's
my
what
water
happened. I was
cooling.
about to say, last time that happened to me, it was the dead pump.
So, hey, I have a piece of advice that I hope you can agree with. Water cooling, not all it's cracked up to be.
Well, to be fair, when that happened to me, it happened once in years.
Yeah.
Right? And it does happen. That water will eventually need servicing.
Somehow.
Right?
Either the pump, the fan, the water.
But unlike a normal coolant system where, oh, it doesn't work, time to shut it down.
Yeah.
You can actually use your computer with a busted water coolant system for a bit longer.
Yeah.
And then notice that, nothing's getting cooled.
So I had been having a week and a half, 2 weeks of OBS crashing in the middle of my streams. Couldn't figure out why. Guess what? It's because my CPU was
Liquid
redlining.
coolant, excuse me.
Right. Yeah, but water cooling. See, here's my problem with water cooling. Right, the fan is encased in a sheath. Essentially, you can't really see the fan spinning. When my heatsink fan breaks, I can look at it. I can open my PC and I can see it. I can go, this fan's not fucking spinning.
It's not spinning.
And I can repair the fan.
Yep.
On a heatsink.
Yep.
I just pop it up. I can't repair a water cooler.
Yeah. You can hear it not doing its thing. Or
Well,
you can touch it.
I have a whole fucking case dedicated to killing sound, so I wouldn't. So, asked a nice computer man in the local area, the local area of Montreal, to help me with my computer problem. Got a good Noctua heatsink in there, got more fans, everything. Very helpful. And I would like to give this gentleman a shout out because this is the best computer service I have ever used. It is so it's only Montreal area because it's a dude. It's KSK Computers. And the reason why I was so impressed is I called him up and said, hey, can you help me fix my computer? He's like, I'm busy. I can fix it on Friday. And it was Tuesday at the time. I'm like, that's a bummer, right? But fine. But on Friday, the guy drove to my house, picked up my computer, took it away, then came back 5 hours later and handed me my computer back with all the parts repaired, serviced, and replaced.
Awesome.
Like, I was without my PC for a total of one afternoon. So, and he was also very nice and helpful and polite and kind. So that's KSK Computers in Montreal. It's very, very helpful, extremely good service man. But it meant that didn't stream last week. But I did play one new video game, which if you have any interest in the genre, you should probably pick up, Wooly. Have you heard anything about the new Fire Emblem?
Yeah, I heard that the three schools,
three houses,
three families,
Fire Emblem, three houses.
I heard it's the big new one, and I heard that it's got like an overworld now.
So, the biggest problem that I had with Fire Emblem, because ostensibly, as somebody who loves strategy RPGs, who liked the Disguise series, who loves FFT, whose favorite games in the Genesis era are the Shining Force games, I should love Fire Emblem. Except my biggest problem with Fire Emblem is that in almost all the Fire Emblem games, you are like a Monopoly figure on a map, and you move that around, and that's it. For Three Houses, they have a big old fancy cathedral that you would explore week to week, Persona style, and Paige is the first one that said it to me. I don't know if she's the one who came up with it. She says she isn't. She says other people saying it, but people are calling it Shin Megami Sensei, in that this is a Persona game now, just through and through. Remember time pregnancies from Awakening? That's gone. You're no longer getting your units time pregnant, which is nice because that was creepy.
So how do you make the babies now?
You don't. There's no time babies.
There's no babies anymore.
The time babies are gone.
So now you just find people.
Yeah, now you just hang out with people.
Okay.
And almost the whole cast is right there at the very beginning.
Okay.
It's just when you start, you pick one of the 3 houses, and that is your primary roster of 8 to 10 people, and then you can poach people from other houses as you go through the game. It's really, really, really good. It's really fucking good.
And it's basically still just Fire Emblem.
It's basically... They added a lot of stuff to the Fire
Combat is combat for Fire Emblem.
So they added a lot of stuff to that makes it a lot more forgiving in my eyes. The biggest one is that if you play on Classic or the classic Fire Emblem way, which is permadeath.
Permadeath, yep.
The biggest problem that I had with the old games is that you would hit a button and you'd see where enemies could move, but you never really had a good indication of what enemies would attack what units. And then they would all pile on this character that you thought would be relatively ignored, and then that character would die. Right? So not only do you have the ability to rewind a couple times a fight, just straight up rewind, like go back 5 moves, but also when you move a character into a spot that is dangerous, you will see a little threat red line jump off of enemies and all hit that character. So you'll have situations where you move Edelgard forward 2 spaces, and 6 enemies will have red lines shoot off of them onto her.
Are you committed to the move?
No.
Okay, you can back it out.
You can back it out. So you'll see, okay, if I move this character here, this character will die.
Yep.
And then you can mix and match and go, okay, such and such priority is this guy, and such priority is this guy. And it gives you a lot more control over it.
Cool.
In addition, month to month, or week to week, it's not day to day like Persona. It's literally just Persona. Instead of
walk around your town, and
walk around, talk to people. How do you want to
time.
spend your time?
Okay.
Do you want to learn a class? You want to teach a class? You want to do a battle drill? Do you want to do this? And it's funny.
But like, are you building your social, or are you building up your fight ability?
Both.
Okay.
So there's 3 main things that you could do. You can either build up your social links with your class by hanging out with them or doing class stuff with them. You can build up your character by having other professors instruct you, or you can have just hit battles and gain XP. And it has all that meld into each other, and it's great. And probably the best thing that I can say about it is that the Fire Emblem stuff, it's a fun strategy RPG with lots of depth and classes and all that stuff. I have not talked to... Paige is playing it. I have another friend that's playing it. We have not talked once about fights, ever. Not a once. Who cares? Who cares?
Interesting. Okay.
Really, it's about, are we able to get Bernadette out of a room? I don't know. Man, Ferdinand's such a chode. Why has he got to be all about the nobles all the time?
Sounds like that's what people wanted from those characters all along, in a way, because I feel like the Fire Emblem characters showing up in Smash and such have created like... So it's created like a fandom where people want to spend more time with these characters besides just these little in-between cutscene battle moments from the previous games. So that's a pretty strong move.
So it's, you have your S-Link rankings for you and every character, but every single character has that with every single other character. And I know that was in the past, but it's the first time I've been experiencing it. There's a lot here. Now I haven't looked, but I can feel Fire Emblem diehards being very mad. And it reminds me... Let me see.
Not really.
Yeah, I can see it.
The fights are just a vehicle through to the slice of life.
It's very much exactly what happened with Persona. Persona was a hardcore RPG series that became half dating sim.
And then the shit in between the RPGing is what people attach to.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, listen, the gameplay is the meat, but the fluff is interesting. It's fun. It's like, let's ignore the part where you're a professor and you're the same age as your students and you're able to date your students. That's kind of fucked up. But we've had a lot of fucked up thing in these anime games.
If you're the same age, who cares?
Yeah. It's unethical. Can't date your students
because of pressure.
Then they can get a good grade.
Right. Yeah. Bad.
other thing that's really good about the time pregnancies being gone is that the time pregnancies meant that everyone had to be straight. Because why would you ever have a relationship with somebody that couldn't result in a baby?
Do you play Assassin's Creed Odyssey?
I did.
Okay.
Didn't finish it.
Okay.
And they ran into that problem too. So here they've added a bunch of gay options. Unfortunately, there's only one gay option for dudes, and it's not the guy that people want to fuck.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen, but the guy in yellow,
I don't know. I haven't seen any of the
tan
characters.
skin. He's got a little rat tail on the side. His name's Claude. Everyone assumed you could suck that dude's dick. You can't. You fuck the sleepy kid.
I have no reference point.
All right. See, this is what you got. You know.
I bounced off of Fire Emblem too many times. I tried to.
Is it the gameplay or is it the time pregnancy?
It was. I didn't even get to the time pregnancy, so it wasn't that.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of everything, and I tried on 3 different games once they started. So back in the day, I was really excited because when I first saw the Swordsman in Melee, I was like, "Oh, Nintendo has a franchise about knights and stuff. That's fun."
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about this. That seems like not their style, from what I've. And then I found then they brought over that Game Boy Color or Advanced one. I forget what system it was on, but I think it was the one with Elliewood in it. And so I tried that for a little bit, and then I bounced off of it. I don't know. After the first, I didn't have any problem per se, but it's like after the first or second session, I just didn't feel like going back to it.
So I felt pretty much the same way.
And then I bought Fates, and then I bought Awakening, or other way around.
I did the exact same thing and bounced off of them every time because I felt there was nothing. This series and this game have shown me if I can't physically directly control a character ever, I probably won't like the game.
I also felt no hook in terms of, like, no one who I met was really, like, a character that I'm like, I want to know more about that person. I kind of saw a lot of anime characters with swords and capes and cool stuff, but nothing really gripped me and made me, like, want to hold on to it. And I have no way to define the quality that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But it's the same quality that applied to Sword Art Online characters, and it's the same quality that applied to when I first saw the faces in Astral Chain.
Yeah.
That I kind of went, it's that thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. But that's just on the art.
The
art's not the only thing I'm talking about.
I understand what you're saying. I'd say they did a great job on this batch of anime stereotypes. I think there's a couple in them that are new-ish, but yeah, it's hey.
Yeah, and I guess I never went deep enough to find the one or two that might be awesome. Someone's talking about Lon Q. I didn't get deep enough to see who that might have been. So
I referred to.
I gave it a shot though. I bought those
Linhart as the sleepy kid because that's his job. There's the gold digger, there's the sleepy kid, there's the shy girl, there's the ditzy one, there's the girl who's quiet but she really likes horses.
Yeah.
Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. It's not for the same reasons, but I feel it a little bit with some of the Tales games.
Mm-hmm. Tales to me is just stock anime.
But I do like the combat system in that being a fun juggle, one player fucking Marvel. Mm-hmm. But there's a little something in that art style that I kind of come back to that, like, it lacks a hook that'll be like that'll pull me back to it, But for other reasons as well. I mean, the gameplay was it's cool. It's Fire Emblem strategy, what I mean? Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But I don't know, Whereas when I played like Advance Wars or something like that, I was fucking in.
I can't stand Advance Wars.
I'm so in. I love Advance Wars.
And Advance Wars is one of those series that I'll make the distinction where I won't say that it sucks. I'll say I can't stand Advance Wars because if it's turn-based, you have your characters. If it's real-time, you create units. That's the rule. You can't create units when it's turn-based. That's not allowed. That's not allowed. You can't do it. What do you mean I just make it? I hate it.
It's great.
I hate it.
It was great. And then of course there's me discovering like Into the Breach as a love in the form of like perfect knowledge puzzle.
Yeah, it's just a puzzle game.
Puzzle games, but yeah.
But yeah, Fire Emblem Three Houses, it's a good one.
Okay.
I would say that if you ever wanted to try to bounce again, this would be a decent shot.
Okay.
But
are you pretty much though, like, I haven't seen the cast like you mentioned, but like like
it's a good cast.
You know all the Fire Emblem characters that made it into like Smash.
Yes.
Is it pretty much like you're hanging out with all of them?
No, because all the Fire Emblem characters that made it into Smash are all the same character. They're all I'm the sword hero man.
Yeah.
Whereas all your character in this one is a fucking slate.
Okay.
They are a fucking blank canvas. They have zero personality.
Probably more like FE than anything.
Yeah. It actually, I saw somebody saying when I was talking about it on an earlier stream, it's like you get to enjoy all the character bits of hashtag FE without having to play hashtag FE, which is a win for everyone.
Yeah, you do the dates and that's true.
But yeah, no, the cast is good. They're not. I wouldn't call them weirdos. Where like I'd call the Persona cast weirdos. Like they're trying to go as far as they can go with certain personality traits. I would call them probably they're nice little refreshing takes on the archetype.
I mean, they're not all weirdos. They're like, I feel like Ken and Shinji. Like Shinji's antisocial, but he's not unrealistic, you know.
Nah, well, he is a little with the magic, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I feel like him and Ken are like pretty well-rounded normal people. But yeah, I hear you.
It's a good one. That's my main thing to say about it, is that it's very good. I'm enjoying it very much, and that Black Eagles are the best house. And this is not just me saying it. It's also like numerical. Everybody knows the Black Eagles.
Are we fucking? Is this Niantic again?
Wooly.
Is this Pokemon Go again?
No.
This is literally Pokemon Go again.
No. Wooly.
You take 3 choices. You give the
Wooly.
public 3 groups, and they all serve a particular need.
Wooly. I will answer your question with a yes and a no. It's not Niantic. It's not Pokemon Go. It's actually Harry Potter.
Oh, it's Slytherin, Pufflepuff.
No, there's no Slytherin house. Okay, no one ever picks Slytherin. No, publicly. No one would ever go, man, that Slytherin house is the dopest. Everyone would always say that they would be Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, or Ravenclaw. And that is, those 3 that I just said have been directly transplanted into this game.
Baratheon, Lannister, and Stark.
Yeah. Except take Lannister out and put a not evil one in. A not evil one. I can't think. Right? They even fit the animals. It's a fucking lion
They're
and
all
eagle.
kind of evil at some point, but
right. But the reason I say that is because when you play the game online, it does the Persona thing of like, listen, this is what people did with their time. It'll say 12% of people battled today, or 89% of people. But on the load screens, it'll also tell you, hey, this is who got recruited this month. This is who got deployed this month. And from 1 to 8, it's the whole cast of Black Eagle. That's the one. Because they're the best one. Because their leader is like a snobby, bitchy axe princess with Mitsuru's voice.
So therefore, that's
the best one.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay.
She'll look at you and judge you. The first thing you see, you look at her and it says, I feel like she's always evaluating and judging me. And you're like, there you go. That's the best one right there.
I have no strong feelings one way or the other.
Damn you, apathy. Not apathy. Not ambivalence. What's the middle one? I can't remember. It's gone. I've lost it. That's pretty much it for me.
Okay.
If you want to see me streaming more stuff this week, check it out, twitch.tv/angriestpat. It'll be Sinking City, FF7, and Monster Hunter this week.
So meanwhile, on my end, so I talked about Jojo, and before I left for my weekend adventure, I
In scenic Hamilton.
played The Outer Wilds.
You did?
Yes. Played it for about 2 hours.
Okay.
How should we talk about this?
Did you get to the part where you
Yes.
understand why I didn't want to talk to you?
Yes.
Okay. So let's get...
That's fucking incredible.
Let's put a secondary... If you don't want to know what one of the hooks for the Outer Wilds is, stop listening for about 10 minutes. I had no idea.
I don't think I have 10 minutes worth of conversation. However,
I do, because I played a lot more of it.
I will say this. I don't feel the same as you in terms of this is your game of the year, but I would say that if No Man's Sky had that, that game would have changed games.
Yeah. This to me, I feel like this is what No Man's Sky and The Witness both aspired to be in one game.
Because the difference is the exploration and the drive to want to uncover things still that remains.
Yeah.
That's all there. But now you have the ultimate impetus to actually go do it.
Yeah.
And you have the impetus to do it big fast. Because
Have
if you
you,
take too long, the galaxy
So what did
you are in
What did you explore?
will end. So I noticed the first time around that I was like basically, because for the purposes of taking like a quick look at this thing, which I did, walking around town and playing hide and go seek with these fucking kids to learn the mechanics.
Yeah.
Like I at a certain point I just got really bored and went, you know what, like I'm done talking to you villagers and whatnot, right? But there's a lot I could have done as tutorial.
Yeah.
If I were to just do all of that, I assume that the moment I got back to my ship and took off, it would be exactly
Time stops when you're in that area.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh.
When you're doing that stuff on pass 1, it doesn't go
It's the moment you launch.
It's the moment you walk into the launch bay and go up.
Okay, because I was hoping that the waste of time in the tutorial form would have been for the purpose of you then launch and that's the end of the world.
So I have a question for you. Did you check out everything in that museum?
Pretty much. I did. I checked out the first couple things, and then I was like, oh my god, okay, I gotta get a move on here. Like, it was like 25 minutes of just like reading. Like, it was getting to a point where it's like,
So my favorite part of that thing.
But it sets up a lot, and it shows you the fucking sun.
So it shows you a thing. This is how suns evolve.
This is how Asar
and I looked at it, and I didn't pay it any attention because I already knew how suns work.
Of course.
And the chat went nuts. It was like, no, look at it. We need to see it. I'm like, okay, fine. And I read the thing about the sun.
You played with a chat.
Yeah, I played with a chat. But the chat was good. My chat was good.
Okay.
But then I get out into space, and I'm exploring around, and I take a look. I'm like, the sun looks... I must be wrong that the sun looks larger than it did, and it looks like a different color. I must be mistaken. And then I went a little further, and it's like, nah, I'm not mistaken.
Okay. So you actually saw the buildup.
Yeah.
And
then I died.
But you interpreted what you were seeing.
Yeah.
Okay. I went through this. So I was sitting there with Reggie and basically had the moment of like, okay, what's next on the star chart? We checked out this planet. We talked to that guy. He kind of lost his mind. Yeah. Okay, now we went here and
that'd be the moon, Adelron?
Yeah. And then, fuck, my ship, like, the gravity on this planet sent my ship flying into space. This sucks, right? And I basically I retrieved it and we did a whole little thing. And then, like, not even looking at the color change, not noticing, I looked away to pick the next autopilot destination. And then suddenly I'm like, am I in re-entry?
Yeah, I'm hearing this horrible noise.
I'm seeing fire in my periffs right now. What's going on? Like, is that... Oh, it's fine. Let's get to that planet. Look back at the map. And then suddenly ambient music started playing. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, well, that's nice that occasionally they'll play some... What the fuck?
Yeah. I saw that it was changing, but I didn't think it was going to kill me within a 24-minute cycle. So you have 24 minutes.
Okay.
To do the game.
Yeah. Okay.
And I explored everything on. So the planets are the perfect size. They're big, but they're small enough that you can actually explore the entire planet in 1 hour.
And you have a device that says where things of interest are.
Yeah.
And you know that the North Pole of every planet is where communications are the best.
And also, your ship's log will maintain everything forever. And if you go to a location and didn't get everything, your ship's log will have an asterisk and tell you,
yes,
you need to go back there.
Exactly. So that when I went after that first 2 hour look at the game and saw that log basically be like, this is, you discovered this, you discovered that, and this is still a mystery. And I went, this is a puzzle game.
It is a puzzle game. And I'm going to ask you really carefully, where did you go?
I went to the water planet.
You went to Giant Steep.
I went to the moon.
Uh-huh.
I went to the planet that was all...
Edelrock, yeah.
I went to the planet that was all spiky and shitty.
Dark Bramble. I have not been there myself.
I went to the planet that was connected to another one.
Okay, Ash Twin.
And I was on both of those. And I went to the comet.
Yeah. The Interloper.
Yep.
The one that's cycling around.
Yep. And I want to say, I mean, that's the icy one, right?
I haven't been to it. You've actually been more locations than I have.
Okay.
So the reason I ask is because instead of going to every place, I fucking scraped every location on Timber Hearth or whatever.
Oh.
I scraped every location on the moon. I scraped every location on Giant Steep.
I spread it out. I spread it out for the sake of exploration.
So here's the thing. Both of these options are possible. The game has a severe breadcrumb. Mm-hmm. There are breadcrumbs off every location that go to every location. And they are something as simple as I found this log from this guy, and he said he was going to go to Dark Bramble. So if I go to Dark Bramble, I'll find that guy, and then I'll talk to him about whatever, right?
Did you approach an event horizon of some kind?
What do you mean?
Nothing.
Oh, you found the Whitehole Station.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You went to Brittle Hollow and you fell in.
Yeah.
That is very disorienting.
Yes, it is. And the way that handles the skybox as you approach infinity refracting onto itself is really, really weird.
So I have a question for you. Did you manage to leave Whitehole Station, come back?
I did. I pulled the little switch.
Yeah.
The moment I died.
Okay.
So I don't know what it did.
There's a bunch of goofy little things there. And so here's the thing. You read the stuff at Whitehole Station, and Whitehole Station tells you how to use Whitehole Station to leave.
Okay.
That is an upgrade. You have your camera device, you have your radio wave device, you have your suit, you have your ship. Everything in that game, like, this is a game, because it's under a cycle, to beat the game, I know this in my heart, you will be able to fly off and just fly to the end.
Yes, of course.
There is nothing, you will gain nothing.
All you're doing is gathering the information,
like,
to get you to that door.
I achieved a big upgrade, a huge upgrade that lets me control parts of the world by reading a single line of text that said, if you do this, this happens, or doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And there is a straight up location in the game that says you need to know this, this, and this in order to walk forward. And it is the physical equivalent of a completely empty room with literally nothing other than you need to know these things to move forward.
Okay.
And I know that if I knew those things, I would look at that room and go, oh yeah, it's this. I just do that. Right? It's so cool.
It's very interesting. It's a very interesting thing on a game that doesn't have a giant budget.
No.
Very much not big budget at all.
I love the art style with the way the planets work.
Sure, yeah. But like you can feel that, like, if you just took that core idea I get, like, again, if you put that into something that actually put in the world tech like No Man's Sky,
Yeah.
we would have a game changer.
So the problem with that is that it can't, because the only reason this game works is because it's small.
Because of the scale. Yes, you're right. You're super right, and I agree.
But in terms of landmass, it's like the size of the island of the Witness. Like, it's actually quite small.
Yeah, and I'm not sure whether it would be like this works, and it's also fun because of the sense of urgency the moment you come back.
Yeah.
Right? Because the next time around you're like, fuck, go, hustle. That slow and all that slow paced whatever is completely gone. But I guess there's just something cool to thinking about like a fully realized world that also has that kind of
there's
threat,
when you go back to it, in the options there is an option you can enable that it's on by default for the Nomian writing. But you can turn it on for dialogue, and you can turn it on for your ship's log, which stops time when you're reading.
Ah.
So I don't know if you noticed if you were near a waterfall or something, but when you read the Nomian dialogue, time stops.
Important.
Because fuck.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Don't turn it on for dialogue.
Okay.
Because there's a couple cool moments that only happen if dialogue is happening while the world continues to exist.
Yeah, okay.
For ship's log, that's also fine.
Right. Flying that ship was rough.
It's hard.
And I make some big, dumb, embarrassing crashes.
I was brushing Elmo last night. I was streaming last night. I set autopilot for Giant's Deep. Okay, I got time to brush the cat. Flew right into the fucking lava moon around side Brittle Hollow.
Yeah. I didn't understand how to land properly until like the 5th time I crashed.
I still don't know how to land.
I finally figured it out, right? You look down on the landing cam and you only use the A button.
Nah, you just fucking...
And you tap the A button softly. Like literally Reggie's like, dude, slow down. And I'm like, I can't.
You know there's an eject button on your ship?
Is there? Okay.
Yeah, if you hold down on the D-pad and turn to your right, there's an eject button. And it fires the forward capsule. You're not even sealed.
And then you repair your shit, and it really is fucking interesting.
I spent about 4.5 hours exploring Brittle Hollow last night, only to find that there was an area that I can't get to because I don't. It's probably the most fun game to ever say, I don't know how to get there. I can see it, and it makes no sense.
And the last thing I did after I think I did 3 respawns, like actually technically 4, because I jumped off a ledge in the main town just to see if fall damage was a thing.
It is.
And then I'm like, great, and then I respawned, right? Thankfully, and the game was like, oh, that didn't count, you didn't know what happened, it's fine, you know. But when the last thing I noticed that I'm now obsessed with was the 4th time I woke up, and then I'm like, what the fuck is that blue thing you're staring at? And it launches and it goes off, and I'm like, that is something really
you mean
important.
The thing orbiting Giant's Deep?
But it launches the moment you wake up.
It's the first thing you see.
It's the first thing you see. God damn it! I want to know why that's the first thing I see.
So I will share I will end on sharing a detail with you.
Yeah.
About that thing that you may not have noticed because you only saw it 4 times. Did you notice that every time you wake up, it fires in a different direction?
No.
It does.
Okay.
It fires in a completely randomized direction.
Okay.
Despite the fact that you're trapped in a time loop.
Yeah, okay.
When I noticed that, I got on my fucking ship and I hauled the fuck over there.
Exactly.
And was like, what is this thing?
Yeah.
And then that sent me to this location and this location.
I attempted to I hauled up and I attempted to just fucking eyeball the blue.
Yeah.
And you don't have time.
I tried to chase it. It is the fastest thing in the universe. It is.
Think about the speed it's moving from the distance you're at.
Oh, it's so fucking fast.
Holy shit. Yeah. So
there's
tons
of crazy shit on even your own planet.
And it's so important.
Here's a little hint for you. You know your suit protects you from water damage?
Yeah.
You know those geysers in the middle of town?
Yeah.
Stuff in there.
Yeah.
Like,
it is so important to let the beginning of that game happen until its premise is presented.
So the store page totally spoils it.
Fuck.
I did not know that.
Someone told me that too, and I never went back to check. But someone told me. Thankfully, they said download and install the game. Never read anything or look at any screenshots.
This is the game the most I can think of. Like, either do it as a community like I'm doing it, or do it in a locked room by yourself. Right? Like, don't the thing of like talking to your buddy about it. Oh, cool! Like that seems like an awful way to go through it, where your buddy said.
But the community version of that is like you're gonna get a lot more than you want.
I have actually been surprised at my personal chat's like calmness.
Okay.
On that.
Really cool premise.
It is a galaxy brain game for sure.
Yeah. Strongest premise, easy. I
was also surprised how hard it gets. It gets quite difficult.
I think, and like it's to the point where an unremarkable like an unremarkable like feeling engine, and assets are made up for with an incredible premise.
Well, like
otherwise it's kind of like it's a Unity
solid
game. You know?
It runs well and it's solid, but then you get to the part where it's like there's actually a lot of really crazy things that are happening. Since you encountered the black hole, you can use that to slingshot yourself to areas in that zone.
Okay.
You can throw yourself at it and use your jets and its gravity to fire yourself into parts of it that you would not otherwise be able to reach. That's complicated and weird, and the fact that the first time I got out into space, I died instantly because I forgot the sun had gravity.
So the only other thing, I never even got close to that to find out what would happen.
Yeah, the sun has gravity.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I guess the one other question I'd have is, once the premise reveals itself, are there further reveals?
There are constant shocks and surprises.
Okay.
Nothing like that.
Yeah.
But like, sci-fi's a good place to show you weird things that make no sense, and then demand that you understand them.
I mean, and again, I'm treating that museum room as
it's a primer
for everything that matters.
Yeah.
Especially considering, like, here's a rock. You see that rock?
Wooly,
look at that rock, though.
I'm gonna say, did you see a heavenly body?
Yeah.
That didn't have a name.
Yeah. Okay.
Did you?
I may or may not have. I don't even.
Okay.
Yeah. Fuck. All right. The Outer Wilds.
It's crazy.
It requires installing the Epic Store.
Or a console.
Xbox One.
Only?
Yep.
It's coming to Steam later. They're adding... there's going to be a patch that comes out for it in the near future. Apparently the final puzzle is very obtuse. So they're going to, like, juice it a little bit.
Okay.
And they're also going to add the ability to move forward through time.
Okay.
There's a unlockable ability that you can get where you can reset the cycle by yourself from the menu instead of just killing yourself.
Okay.
They're adding the ability to move forward through time because there are events that only happen at certain times.
Yeah. The whole I forgot what it's the Way of the Samurai thing where it's like there's a fixed calendar system. Yeah,
it's Majora's Mask in space.
Majora's Mask in space. Yeah.
And that we need the Song of Double Time. So they're gonna add that in the near future. Game's great.
It is, and So me taking a quick look at that's gonna be on Wooly Versus a bit later this week, probably. Two-parter, because there's some bubble fucking that goes around for that first bit.
Game's a lot longer than I thought it was.
Yeah, it looks short.
Doesn't it?
It looks very short.
I've spent 2 streams exploring like 3 planets.
Oh wow. Okay. I assume I assume those planets were like 2-3 items of interest most. For the sake of
there are 5 or 6, and then there's a seventh point of interest that you're like, I don't even know what I'm looking at. I can't enter it.
Okay. Cool. Outer Wilds. So there's that. Quick look coming up on the channel. Then, yes, so I went to Con Bravo, and...
You did Jojo Jeopardy.
I did. So, God fucking damn it, man. Already the process of, like, putting together these prize packs for everybody, like, was cutting it down to the wire, you know, but I did get enough in time that I think was worth it, and looked like everyone was happy with how that played out. I was waiting on that fucking suit.
Yeah.
I'm staring at the goddamn UPS truck.
Yeah.
Coming around, you know what I mean? Like, trying to get my hands on that suit. Like, it was nonsense. I hate UPS, dude. Ugh. But anyway, I had to drive out to Lachine. You know, I had to drive out to the fucking station to go pick up my garbage because they just refused.
I hate those motherfuckers.
It really sucks, especially when you pay for the rush.
Pure Later's even worse, though, out here.
I mean, the only thing that I like, it's not, nothing's great, right?
Canada Post will bring it to your local post office.
And then you can go get it at the post office.
It'll take you 10 minutes.
Yep.
Because everyone lives next to a post office.
And it's not the perfect solution because sometimes they bring it to the wrong one. Sometimes they leave you a door tag that leads to nothing. But for the most part, if you ever you miss your package, it's going to be at your post office. And I'm like, God bless Canada Post, you know?
I have never had a Pure Later person ever actually hand me an item.
Yeah.
Not once.
Yeah. DHL, UPS, FedEx, all these fucking companies. Like, UPS gets, like the amount of shits they don't give about, like, they will drive to your location just to put a door tag on your door.
I had a UPS guy leave a package on the sidewalk in front of my house. And he did not ring the fucking doorbell.
I remember a Duckman bit where Duckman's waiting on a package, and I'm pretty sure it was, and like he literally is like staring at the door, and then he's like, I have to go out, and he's like, fuck, but all right, and he leaves the house, and the moment he leaves the house, the UPS man leans out of the bushes, puts the tag on his door, sorry we missed you, and jumps back into the bushes, you know. Yeah. Anyway, so what I got, but I did get it. I got the suit, got my accessories, went down to a fucking Halloween shop and bought me some bullshit.
Yeah.
And I went in, as you might have seen.
Mm-hmm. I saw.
Outfitted up. We did.
You were ready to sell dozens of classified personal ads in the newspaper to make a fortune.
Or used cars.
Yeah.
Would you trust a used car salesman wearing that fucking suit?
Yes, I would.
Well, I would not. I would not trust myself. However, I got my questions all together. I put them. I had 3 rounds worth of JoJo trivia, and I tested them on Punch Mom, and but she doesn't remember anything.
Yeah,
so that doesn't really, you know. So I was like, okay.
She remembers schooling and important things.
And then I tested them on Austin.
Yeah.
And some friends, and like they were kind of just like, dude,
these are too hard.
What the they're like, we watched all of JoJo once as a normal anime. Yeah. We're not living in the world of reading its memes and seeing its manga pages and double reading it and then watching it. We're just people that watched it once.
That's the problem that I knew you were going to run into, because there's 2 types of people with something like this. There's the guy who showed up with the fucking there's people like Kira Buckland who are walking around with the fucking tattoo on their neck.
Yeah.
And then there's people like, yeah, that was a fun anime with Dio, right?
Yeah. So it was pretty hard to kind of figure out where to nail this, because the problem was that I made questions based on as if I were talking to the people in our chat right now.
Yep.
I made questions for them.
Yes.
Essentially.
Where any question you would ask would be instantaneously answered by 10 people.
Like, so the $100 questions
Yeah.
were the ones that were like it was almost
Hit
like
me with one of them as an example.
one of the originals?
Yeah, one of the original, like...
One of the originals, let me think, like, I revised it.
Anything for context.
Well, like, cause I have like I have the like God, I'd have to pull it up. Sorry, just because in the end there was a bunch, right? Now one of the ones the reason why everyone is shouting chocolate gum is because I fucked up.
Yeah.
Right. And I super just wrote in like when I was trying to come up with replacement questions to make them easier and stuff, I wrote in some filler answers and then went back in and revised. But and then that one I fucked up by leaving the filler answer in, and it was obviously coffee because chocolate kills dogs. So I made a mistake and got exposed. Oops, I made a mistake. When what ended up happening though was okay, let me find one of the questions. Sorry, just because
I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I'm just like something for context, right?
Yeah. So I originally had, for example, let's say this is like like Joseph allows Santana to jump into the well for this reason.
Okay.
What do you got?
I think
I worded it differently, but I'm like Joseph basically.
Because it would be noon soon, so the sun would be peering straight down the well. To
exactly, because it's high noon.
Okay, yeah, that's tough.
Sure, but that was one of those things that I threw out there, right?
Yeah.
And then like the crazy ass fucking hard questions were.
What's Josuke's address?
No. Literally, what is Mikitaka's alien name?
That's not fair.
That's $1,000 question.
That's tough. That's a tough one.
Exactly, right? So you have so the whole thing is to understand when you're making the scale and like the amount of people yelling right now.
Yeah,
it's a perfect like representation of the fact that when you know JoJo, it seems super easy when it's a basic question, right?
Yeah.
But when you don't,
you watched it once,
when it's just like any other anime in your list, if I ask you which one, no. At first I had AC/DC cries for this reason, right? This is the or after, and I worded it better so that it's like not because he gets his arm fucking hurt or whatever, but like this is the purpose that he explains why he cries, right?
Yeah.
And then it's like to get rid of his anger and frustration so that he can cool his head off, right? Okay, so that gets revised to which one of the Pillar Men cries.
Okay.
Right?
Which is laughably easy.
Compared to, you reword it sometimes to make it so that it's not about what the reason for the action was, as opposed to who did it, which is
how much grease was on that pillar.
Right. What is... there's an ability that is this obscure ability is used once, if not twice, ever in the entire thing. It's that Wamu does upon awakening his masters, and then we don't see it again. This obscure specific character trait of Wamu.
The character trait of Wamu or ability?
Same thing.
Okay, because like he attacks his shadow.
Yes. Well, no, but
he attacks anything that touches his shadow,
right?
And it's never dealt with ever.
So that to me is a pretty simple. It's an easy question, but it's easy to forget.
It's so weird when it happens,
but it's easy to forget, right?
Because it happens once.
So it became so I basically was staring back at these questions and like they were kind of going like, dude, hold on a second, right? These would work for your audience of people that love JoJo.
Yeah,
they've watched and read it and talk about it and share memes with each other all day, right? There's no mistaking a lot of these things. However, it's not gonna fly, especially if you're talking to you're saying this is what the panel is, but who are you gonna be pulling up there, right? The best JoJo fans in the audience, or
statistically you'll get one,
or
and then,
random people. And I'm like, I'm pulling random names out of a Jotaro hat.
Yeah.
Right? Then you're like, then you need to make this be a con fun event.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's fair.
You can't go up there and have a situation in which no one on the list can get any of the questions correct.
Right? And there is a strategy to Jeopardy in which you can clear out hard questions, not answer, not lose points, and then try to fish for daily doubles.
Listen, are you making this fucking game for Ken Jennings or anyone else? Ken Jennings is that guy who ruined Jeopardy.
Okay.
He won like 11 weeks in a row.
Okay. So in the end, it was basically like, all right, $100 questions have to literally be answerable by anyone.
Yeah.
And then you make a sliding slow scale of difficulty and then jump it up around 400.
Dio is a werewolf, vampire, ghost.
My first $100 question was, this Japanese phrase translates to, the fate of that blood, Jojo.
See, I get it.
Right?
It's yari yari to say, obviously.
And then that changed to, and then when I looked around the room and I got blank stares, that question changed to, this is the title of the intro and the final words on the lyrics of the first opening.
Yeah.
Right? Whatever.
There you go.
So, in the end, what I did was...
It's like a rough balancing act.
It was a rough balancing act, and here's what it ended up being was pretty unbalanced.
Yeah.
With there being the first 1 to 300 of every board being piss easy.
Yeah.
And then 4 to 600, or 4 to 1,000 being brutal sometimes.
Yeah.
Forgiving other times, you know? I went back over things in a lot of cases, and I kept the same answer, but I reworded it.
Yeah.
Or I gave more of a hint as to what, even if you didn't remember what the thing was, the context given in the clue might imply, you know, enough, right? So I had another 1,000-point question where it's like, Straits and Lisa weave a 100% ripple conducting scarf that is made of 30,000 of these.
It's like some kind of hair. I forget.
No. Super wrong, right?
What was it?
So here's the thing, and this is where I got to choose. The answer is a beetle. But the answer also could have been a scarab beetle.
Yeah.
And then the answer could have been a Satiporja scarab beetle, a fictional type of beetle created for part 1 that conducts ripple.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
Like, I could have went that hard on it, and I said, let's play it a little nice, right?
Yeah.
So
it's
anyway.
not even a real beetle?
It's not even a real beetle. In the end, it was worth it, and it was fun. There was a good balance of wrong answers to right answers.
Yeah.
Good balance of holy shits to speed round. First fastest answer wins.
Yeah.
You know?
Say JoJo on the speed round, and you might win.
And there was, of course, the hilariousness of me getting my own fucking answer.
Ah, well.
And the moment the guy said coffee, I was like, I fucked up. Because I should have edited that.
Yeah.
I didn't. But for everything else, though, I definitely made sure I fact checked. Like,
don't let your dogs eat chocolate, guys. They'll die.
But beyond that, I had a lot of fun with it. It was a really good time. The problem that I was trying to get to was I did all those questions. I had to edit everything. So
yeah.
And then I was doing it. I was revising because it was 3 rounds of 30 questions, so there was 90 in total.
That's a lot.
Plus the final Jeopardies.
Yeah.
And I basically did that all the night of.
That's a lot.
For the revision. Because I didn't realize until
That's
that
still
point.
a lot of revision.
So I got through it.
Yeah.
Walked down except for the coffee question. Yeah. Walked with the laptop from the hotel to the escalator to the room, plugged it in, and it exploded. On the stage.
Sick.
With everyone waiting outside Saturday night to get into the main event. Watched it as just stopped working. The laptop in my hand just suddenly, nope.
Awesome.
Right? Tech guys, everybody's running up, trying to figure out what we do.
That's just
stalling
super.
For time, da-da-da-da. Eventually, I'm just like, okay, guys, just copy off the files, and I will run them on another computer or whatever.
Yeah.
Let's do what we can. get into command prompt. None of the tech guys really know DOS. So I'm just like, I'll fucking do it. Great. Thank God I had to build my computer back in the day. Thank God I learned how to do this shit. So I'm plugging in a fucking
DOS?
external and I'm running command prompt.
You mean 2?
Yeah. Yeah, what?
2, it's 2 in Spanish, right?
And and now we live in a world of Windows 10 installed on SSDs.
Yeah.
Where it boots too fast for you to press F8.
Yeah.
Because you don't get to see a BIOS screen anymore. So that shit.
I have
great.
that exact thing, and there is a solution, and it's actually mash F8 as it loads.
Yeah.
Which is stupid.
Didn't
it's stupid
work.
as fuck.
Tried 4 times, didn't work. So just command prompt, literally pulling file by file off, right? Doing star X copies.
That's kind of astonishing that you were able to fix it.
You know, well, I didn't fix it that night. We basically hit a 15-minute delay, and I went, this is going to take me too much time.
Yeah.
Right? And so they said, let's turn this into a Wooly versus Q&A, whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, I feel bad because people came here for JoJo, not necessarily for me.
No, they came there for you.
But then we just started talking about JoJo anyway, and it was just a fun panel.
Yeah.
Right? And then I said, come back tomorrow when we'll do the proper event.
Yeah.
Which we did, and it worked out great.
Right. You saved the day.
It was a really good time. I put the video up. It's out on Wooly Versus. You can go watch it. It is full of music and bullshit that is hyper copyrighted.
Yeah.
So that shit's that's out for the wind. I'm not even going to attempt a monetization on that.
What's the final Jeopardy question? I don't want the answer. I just want to know what you decided was going to be the final Jeopardy question.
It was 3 variations of the same question for each round. I walked off the podium.
Yeah.
I stood in front of them and I asked them to identify this pose.
That's pretty good.
And I did a pose.
That's really hard.
Well,
well, it depends what poses you pick.
I picked 2 easy ones.
Yeah.
That they didn't get, and then I picked a pretty hard one. So let me see if you remember it. But
yeah.
I did this.
Don't remember it.
Okay, this is Josuke holding the house in the Savage Garden I Want You song in the credits.
Okay. Yeah, you're right.
Hand over the head, upside down, holding the house, you know?
Okay.
So,
that's...
A lot of people thought I was going for the Caesar,
yeah.
You know, with the abs on display, but I wasn't. And, yeah, so I did that. Each round, Final Jeopardy was identify the pose.
Okay. Oh, fuck.
Fun.
Yeah.
I was, and I mean... Yes, I understand. There was a point too where a big debate I had with people I had to go back and forth with, and I asked the Discord at one point even was the categories were parts 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
That makes sense.
I originally had 6, 7.
Yeah. We talked about this last week. It's like you can't do that. You can't have it that people will not show up.
And I decided against it eventually. But I had
8, huh?
Well, it's not done yet.
Yeah,
you know,
it's also weird.
It is. But I fucking I'm like, I can throw in a question where the answer is 36 cars on Mars. All right? I can throw in a question where you got to answer me what you know about Dead Man's questions. Okay? I could and I'm like, you know what? Like, we're going to just back that shit off because we don't know who's going to walk into this panel.
Yeah.
But the version I originally designed was for the fiends in the chat right now who would have all that nonsense in their heads. So what I want to do is figure out how to do something more with this idea, and whether that is doing it at another con type of thing, or figuring out a way to do it on Twitch, because I want to maybe just make a Twitch game show out of it.
Too fast.
But and it wouldn't be, you couldn't do Jeopardy, because if you did, you'd have 3 people and they'd all be able to cheat.
Yeah.
So I'd have to do like a quiz-based elimination with the whole chat thing. So I'm figuring out right now, but I want to put that suit to work and get more use out of it. So yeah, I'll take some Purple Haze feedback on what you guys thought if you check it out on the channel, Jojo Jeopardy. And I want to see how I can...
For our audio-only listeners, I'm doing a big eye roll right now at that horrible pun.
I mean, it was just called Jojo Jeopardy as an event, but I was like, fuck it, I'm going to call it Jojo Jeopardy. And if your only feedback is cringy cringe, whatever, fuck off. All right? I had fun. It was great. It was a good time. But yeah, I want to definitely do this again. And prizes are a fun thing. I love fucking getting JoJo prizes.
Listen, everything is cringe. That's the secret of life.
Sure.
Everything is cringe.
Sure. But it was just wholesome JoJo fun.
No, what I'm saying is is Cringe Man. Do you know what's really cringy? What I find personally to be the cringiest thing ever? Fantasy football.
Okay.
I find that to be, like, embarrassingly cringy. And there's a specific, somewhat quiet YouTuber out there that I'd like to call out who makes fun of weebs, but just started painting her fucking Warhammer army. That's some cringe shit.
Okay. I laugh and smile and nod as I literally just this weekend handed off my Kingdom Death monster to someone to paint and build for me.
Yeah.
My
Really?
miniatures.
You're not gonna paint it yourself?
I don't have the time for that shit. I also handed them a Kshatriya. So
I don't know what you just said.
it's a really hot ass Gundam design.
Okay.
From Gundam.
It's hot.
It's really cool.
It's hot ass.
It's a mobile suit type thing that's really cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yes, Jojo Jeopardy. Go check it out on the channel and let me know how you feel.
What channel is that?
That is Wooly Versus. I also want to give a shout out to D20 Live. I played immediately after the panel. I had a half an hour to then fucking go and catch a quick ass sit before getting back on stage for a 3-hour game of D&D, which I played with the D20 Live people. Mike invited myself, Arcada, Jules from Family Jules, and Linkara to play in the world of Avatar.
Okay.
And I'm like, is it a bad if I haven't seen any Avatar? And they're like, this is the KOTOR of Avatar. It's 400 or 50 years in the past. Don't worry about it. So we played a little Avatar adventure. It was a really fun time.
That sentence just hit me in like 10 different ways. That is a weird way to describe anything.
Yeah.
This is the KOTOR of.
Yeah. And I played he basically had pre-made characters, and he's like, what role do you want to kind of fill? I picked the doctor that had pressure point based exploding techniques.
Cool.
So yeah, Dr. Punchface.
Yeah.
MD.
Oh, yeah.
MD rather. You know. And if the replays are up on that Twitch channel and you want to see a really good time, go check it out. It was really fun. I don't know what the fuck anything with Avatar is, but we got some
You move the elements around.
We got some really critical like hits and critical fails in the most comedic possible moments.
Of course.
Because that's how D&D does.
It's dice rolling.
Dice rolling. So it was a good time. Go check that out as well. Shout out to those guys. And on the fucking break between like we starting that thing, the guy who I was like, hey, nice to meet you. Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me on this thing. Gets down on a knee and proposes, and I was like, what the fuck? And then
So you gonna marry him?
Yeah. And then while he does that, she goes, hold the phone, and reaches in and pulls out her own ring and goes, I was gonna do and they double fucking.
That's
that's a once in a lifetimer.
That's pretty good.
That's never gonna happen again. Straight up. And then we had to go back to playing D&D after the break, and I was like, that was amazing. That was super nice.
That for memes.
So congrats to Mike and the D20 Live folks. That was really fun. Con Bravo, all in all, good one for the history books. Had a good time.
Any Hamilton shenanigans?
I mean, not really, except on
that's good.
On the train over, I found out that trains have turbulence. I didn't know that was a thing. But sometimes they shake and fucking rattle and roll.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know they got that because it's on a rail.
Yeah, but it's a big, long thing.
I assume the tech by now got to the point where you just silently move.
Tech is 100 years old. It's a big, heavy car on a rail.
I rode a Shinkansen. I barely felt
That's tech.
Yeah.
That's tech. That uses magnets and shit.
I thought we figured it out.
It's an old-ass train. Fucking down the track.
If you'd like to check out Outer Wilds, Bayonetta continues, and a couple other one-offs, including the new franchise, including the new series Race Wars. Be sure to check out Wooly Versus.
I saw you comment somewhere, I forget where it was, where it's like going back to Bayonetta with no practice after so many years was a big mistake.
Oh, yes. Yes. You forget a lot of things. There's a lot of things that are forgettable. And there's a lot of rust
Yeah.
And a lot of hits you take that you shouldn't be taking. And you know all those reasons we were afraid to ever play it on the channel?
Yeah.
Yeah, all of those reasons come up to haunt you. And then they all get echoed by everyone going, I can't believe the biggest Bayonetta fan is such a fake fan. And I just sit there and fucking ball up.
Well, I'm glad I acquitted myself quite adequately with the no practice runs of Devil May Cry.
Right. But even those all ended up being decent by the end.
Yeah.
Ish. Bayo won with its really obtuse challenges at times. And
well, the thing with the Devil May Cry games that we went through is that because I felt really comfortable with the beginnings of those games, and I knew that I could sit down and do 2 hours and be solid, and then go home and pop.
Exactly, right? So here, like we're still in the beginning fucking sessions, so motherfuckers are like, dude, you remember dodge offset, right? Dude, you remember you can hold the buttons down to get shots in, right?
Yeah.
Dude, you remember there's a witch time.
Oh, you forgot those things?
And I'm like, no, of course I didn't, but I was just getting hit and sucking.
Oh, no. Well,
man, this is like, and like,
you
dude,
gotta blow up all the benches in the
dude,
first
you know
area
there's more,
to get the health out of them.
You know there's more combos than punch, kick, punch to get a wicked weave, right? And it's like, yes.
Yeah, the best one's punch, punch, kick, kick, kick.
So, you know, I know, but it feels bad.
Sounds like a fake fan over here.
Feels bad.
Oh, man.
Feels bad.
Doesn't even like Bayonetta.
You can enjoy that over on Wooly Versus as well as the Twitch. So that's what's going to be happening. Let's take a quick word from our sponsors.
Let's do that.
This week, Castle Super Beast is sponsored by a name that you should know and trust, Audible.
Hi, Audible. What's up?
Audible's back. Audible, what does Audible do?
They give you audiobooks.
Listening makes people smarter, more connected. It makes us better partners, parents, and leaders. And there's no better place to start listening than Audible. I mean, look, we talked ad nauseum about, quite frankly, just the trees and this paper empire that deserves to be shut down. And, you know, I'm not to say that, like, you need to go down to Dunder Mifflin and, like, roast them to the ground. That's not what I'm getting at.
In fact, you're explicitly not getting at that.
I'm saying don't do that. But I am saying that we can start something nice by listening to audiobooks. And Audible has built themselves a little empire of audiobooks that you can listen to. And by little, I mean a massive collection.
I have heard that they have a couple audiobooks at
thousands
Audible.
Upon thousands, so many. Plus, now you have more than ever before. Members can choose 3 titles every month, 1 audiobook plus 2 Audible originals that you can't hear anywhere else. Members have access to more than 100 audio guide, fitness, and meditation programs. They deliver bestsellers, business, self-improvement, memoirs, more professionally narrated by actors, authors, motivational superstars. They've got a convenient app you can access anytime while commuting, on the go, at the gym, on any device, and it picks up where you left off. That was super handy, getting off the bus and getting home and just pressing the play button.
What's the name of that feature?
It was Whisper Sync.
Oh, did they change the name of it?
Well, I'm not sure, but I liked that name.
Oh, yeah, I remember liking it.
But in any case, audiobooks are, like, honestly a super legit and good way to get through lots of stories that you might not otherwise have the time for. And if you are listening to things like this podcast, you might have the time to listen to fun stuff from, like, I don't know, perhaps a George R.R. Martin might tickle your fancy.
I heard that man writes a book series that is somewhat popular.
Perhaps a Colin Quinn or a Tina Fey or a Lewis Black might tickle your fancy. Certainly did mine. And, of course, I always recommend it, but 100 Years of Solitude is a super good audiobook as well. There's good stuff. So, right now, you can explore all of that and more. Start listening today with a 30-day Audible trial and your first audiobook plus 2 Audible originals for free by visiting audible.com/superbeast or text superbeast to 500-500. That's audible.com/superbeast or text superbeast to 500-500. Thank you, Audible.
Thank you, Audible.
The podcast is also sponsored today.
Also sponsored. Why, thank you.
By Bombas.
Bombas?
Bombas.
These guys seem new. I don't recognize this.
How often do you think about socks?
Well, Only when I have fucked up, and then all my socks are garbage, and then I'm like, I need socks, but then I have to go get socks, and then it's a pain, because apparently there's not a lot of places to buy regular ass socks anymore, and then I just deal with my old crappy socks and have holes in them, and then people see it, and I'm embarrassed.
See, the future is now. You don't need to do that, because Bombas are the most comfortable socks in the history of feet.
Okay, that's quite a claim.
Super soft, natural cotton. Every pair comes with arch support, a seamless toe, cushioned footbed, comfy, not too thick. We're talking big high-tech socks, dude. Many colors, patterns, lengths, styles. Bombas looks great. The gym, around the town, at the office, anywhere. It's what your feet daydream about, Pat, if your feet could daydream.
My feet are like falling apart, in part because I don't take care of my socks.
Do your feet a favor and get yourself some Bombas. And most importantly, for every Bombas purchase you make, Bombas donates a pair to someone in need.
Oh, that's nice.
Right? So buy your Bombas at bombas.com/superbeast today and get 20% off your first purchase. That's bombas.com/superbeast for 20% off. Bombas.com/superbeast. The best feet deserve the best socks.
Oh, you saved it. You saved it.
Thanks, Bombas.
Thanks, Bombas.
All right. So
that's good. That was a good save. That was fantastic.
That's why they call me Ronaldinho. I was trying to think of a goalie, and I realized I didn't have any. So I was like, think of a player. Ronaldo, he's not a goalie. What about that other Ronaldo? Neither is he. Is Ronald? I'll just say a name. I took too long.
That's why they...
It's fine. That's why they call me Patrick Waugh with the thicker pads.
See, I could say that's why they call me the king, but then nobody would understand that reference at all.
No.
He hasn't played for us, and well, he's dead now, right? It's dead to me. Went to Colorado, you fucking bitch.
Oh, I thought he was dead because he had cheating pads.
Wait, what?
I heard that his pads were 2 inches thicker than regulation, so it helped him save more shots.
I did not know that.
And apparently he got somewhat disgraced over that controversy.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I don't like that my namesake got disgraced over cheating. I don't like that.
Well, you know, there'll always be the Brett Hull cards on the back of the fucking Rice Krispies box.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Don't look up to sports, kids. Your heroes will turn out to be losers.
I say as I wear a hockey-inspired Evo jersey.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is this weekend, and I will be there.
Is the podcast on Monday or Tuesday?
It's going to have to be on Tuesday.
Okay, good to know.
Yes.
I don't know if you saw, but I blew your ass up yesterday on my stream.
Did you?
Yeah. I was
didn't.
like, I may be responsible every single week for delaying the podcast from 1
including
to 2 to
today.
3, including today. But I only delay it 2 hours maximum. I'm not the one who delays it by 24 hours.
Literally on the last train home.
I was so pissed off when I texted you. I couldn't sleep Sunday night, and it's 5 a.m., and I'm like, I bet that motherfucker isn't going to be back until Tuesday. Let me text him. Yeah, it's on Tuesday. Ooh!
Yeah. From now on, if I'm out of town...
If you're out of town, it's on Tuesday.
Yeah. Because I used to come back late Sunday, and I would...
It sucks.
I would be in agony.
Yeah, it sucks ass.
Like, the quality of what I would be able to record the next day would not be worth putting out.
It's me, it's your boy William.
I mean, to some it might, but I also just don't want to even hit the button.
Yeah, I know. I know the feeling.
So, from now on, I'm just straight up rolling it over to Tuesdays, because I need that Monday to travel. Nah.
You excited for Evo?
I already like right now I have a fucking crick in my neck. Like, my neck has been sore for the last days because playing that D&D game, I was facing the audience, but the DM was to my right.
Yeah.
So I spent spent 3 hours looking to the right.
Yeah.
Left that panel neck broke. And that's where I'm at now, and it hasn't been
fixed yet. I know a guy
yet.
who can help you if you want.
Is he a chiropractor?
No, he's not a chiropractor. He's a massage therapist.
Okay. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm taking some Robaxacet. I'm monitoring.
But yeah, if you want afterwards, I'll give you a number and fix your neck up.
Monitoring the situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, because that's not great. Not gonna be fucking. Anyway, Sunday would have been bad. So we were at what? I was talking about Evo, and I was saying that Evo's coming up. It's gonna be fun. And I'm entering. I entered everything.
Yeah.
And then I'll see how I feel.
Yeah. Why not?
Right. I've done the enter one. I've done the Evo where I enter only the things I'm confident in, like maximum confidence.
Yeah.
And then that sucked. I've entered more than I'm confident in, and then regretted all other chances.
Sure.
So now I'm just looking at it.
Enter everything.
Enter
and if
everything.
You want to go? Just go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. I have no problem going out and doing that. So let's do it. And I'll see if it's an 8 a.m. garbage pool and it's Street Fighter V. I might fucking snooze on that button.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Big turnout this year for a ton of games.
Oh yeah, Sam Show getting the big push. Also, that Sunday looking as different as ever, with the final game not being Street Fighter for once. In fact, it's not even the second to last game.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
It goes
Third.
Street Fighter, Tekken, then Smash, right?
Yeah, with something before that.
It's really
Dragon
nice
Ball.
that they gave everybody the ability to go to bed early that night.
Anyway, so yeah, that's gonna be going down, and Reggie's coming along with,
of course.
So, well, he usually does it. He hasn't been there in a while.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He didn't have a passport, but you got to get ready. So we're gonna be down there. So we're gonna be doing it. The Get Into Fighting Games crew. So yeah, come say hi. Come meet Mr. Foot Fetish himself.
I am excited to see some high-end scrub quotes this week.
Aggressive
Some like,
yeah.
I'm one of the best players in the world, and I just said some stupid, childish, ignorant shit on stage because I lost.
To be honest, I'm surprised that scrub quotes is not being filled with like Fox News articles, because the amount of bullshit coming off of the Fortnite stuff.
Guess what? Right before you hit the music, I was looking at the scrub quotes Fox News.
That's awesome. Thank God.
Easy way to cheat in Fortnite: hide in the bushes, then wait till the end of the game. Sometimes you can win without doing anything. It's on the screen on the TV.
The amount of people, the amount of old ass corny motherfuckers that don't know anything that suddenly went, wait a minute, $3 million.
Okay, for real though, that prize is. That championship's probably not in the news this week, right? Because I do want to talk about it for 2 minutes. That prize is absolutely crazy. Go nuts. Tiger Woods winning the fucking PGA whatever didn't earn even close to what that prize money was.
You know what's crazier? 50th place got $100K.
Yep.
That's
50th place.
That's the crazier story. Like, it pays to get that good.
Yeah.
And the difference between 50th and first, like, literally, like, the Alex Valle quote is, if you're not top 8, who are you? Right? Yeah. Like,
I would say top 32, Alex.
Top 32?
Yeah.
You know? I have friends that have cleared top 50.
Yeah.
You know? But in Fortnite, that gets you 100K. That's
100K,
wild.
nothing to fucking sneeze at.
Now, but at the same time, the amount of, like, the fact that, like, money shows up, so all these stupid old people are showing up and fucking making
Why
a
Street
news
Fighter
story,
on my TV?
right? And like, oh, that dumb thing that I yell at my kids about is like, you're saying he can get paid if he keeps at it?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's what I had that conversation with my dad a couple of years ago.
So we're gonna be
when it became clear that this was my career.
Yes.
He was like, "Oh wow, I was super wrong. Good job, Pat."
So now we get to watch round 8 of cringy old boomers.
I saw my favorite thing ever, which is, when are fighting games going to get this kind of prize money? When fighting games get millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of players.
When a fighting game is the #1 played game by every kid on the planet.
In the world.
Yeah.
That's when.
Anyway, the other thing you don't want to think about, because is all that money being like a sneeze for Epic, of course.
Yeah.
Is also what is allowing them to continue to ruin and annoy everybody with their exclusives.
There was one thing that I saw people getting weird about at the tournament. The number 2 guy used a controller. And in Fortnite, controller users have aim assist, and it doesn't get turned off for the tournament.
Oh, okay.
Which allows you to do things that other people can't do.
Like Titanfall.
You are able to see people behind objects.
Because it tracks to them a little bit.
Because it will track them.
Okay.
And there's a lot of people going like, this is fucked. But I don't know how I feel about that, because the mouse and keyboard people obviously have an aiming advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. It's like there needs to... Clearly, Quake proved that there needs to be a help.
Yeah.
It's just how much should it be, right?
Also, I find it weird that a game like Fortnite got turned into a big tournament. It's...
Considering that you don't play in controlled arenas.
Ever.
So here's...
Everything about the game is random.
Well, that's my question is, are these all people playing not together?
I don't know how the tournament works.
Are you playing to...
Yeah. In the ideal scenario that I live in my world, and I would like somebody to tell me if I'm right, you qualify, and there's 100 people that qualify.
On a private server.
And they drop them into a private server,
Yeah.
and the winner is the person who wins.
Yeah. But it sounds like... well, I don't know if that's what they actually do. But I know that, like, normal groups of people meeting up to play competitive Fortnite don't have control over making a private server. Right? Mm-hmm. So you play for points per game? Okay.
You play for points.
Right.
So you play enough games.
Yeah.
It's round robin. It's round robin with a situation that lets you have a lot of games at once. Okay, that makes sense.
But it's not as good as the competitive aspect that we just described.
Yeah.
Right? Where you'd want... I mean...
Could you imagine how fucking high stakes a game would be where people are dropping in... And you win $3 million if you get to the end of this game?
Yeah. If you get the right gun right away.
How fucking dirty it would get? Oh my god.
Getting the right gun right away, getting the right shit pickups right away, yeah. But no, but I was going to say, like, the GameStop one player fight against the CPU in Street Fighter for the highest score tournament.
Man.
Like, that, it kind of feels like you have to do that because the game doesn't let you do 100 private slots. You know?
Yeah.
Anyway, It's weird to think that a battle royale competition is not that.
Yeah. Because that's the strength of the genre.
But look forward to at least another couple months, if not weeks, of this news cycle going through until they have nothing else to talk about.
Oh, you know what? You know what it is?
Everybody's old and dumb and shook at the money in video games.
You have 100 people, but what the competitors don't know is that their seats have been, like, fit with, like, coils. And when you get killed in the game, you get, like, rocketed into the audience. Like catapulted. And then it becomes a death game.
See, these are tactical sips to allow you to further elaborate
on this dumb shit.
On your nonsense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Can we just summarize... Every Pat, you know what it should be with
Bloodsport.
The
should
people
be
should
Bloodsport. The people should die.
Yeah, they should
every
should
single
die.
time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, we got it.
It should be a lethal version of the thing we're talking about.
He's doing the bit.
Yeah.
Great.
I think it's cool when people die in sports.
Great. Yep.
Yeah.
Established. Understood. Now to shit on that same money.
All right, let's shit on it.
That same fucking money that we just talked about in Fortnite.
There are a bunch of, like, young kids that got, like, their lives
money.
Significantly improved by being good at Fortnite.
And that's awesome.
That's awesome.
That's super awesome that like 17 or 18-year-old kid.
Now let's talk about our minor inconveniences that cancel that out.
Just, hey, are you an angry MechWarrior 5 fan? Well,
if you're not, just keep listening.
We're making MechWarrior 5 exclusive to the Epic Store. Get your refunds if you want them. We got enough money. It's fine.
I think this one might have actually been some kind of violation of law by the MechWarrior devs because they were still selling Steam keys when they knew that they were going to take the deal.
Until the deal is signed and the ink is dried, they're not going to stop. Sale's a sale, and it's not their money they're refunding.
It's true. Man, that's really opened the gates up.
The fuck do I give a shit?
How do I... Somebody tell me on Twitter how I get a fucking Shenmue refund. I don't even know where to write.
And it all comes down to fixing the store.
Just fix it. You see, they're still looking for a QA lead.
No.
They are. Which means they're not offering competitive rates for it. Like, if you have a position to fill, I'm not an economist, but if you just keep putting the number higher, you'll fill the position.
Yep. I feel like, I mean, if we haven't really introduced a story, but it's because it's the same one we've been repeating for the last month or two.
Hey, they're snatching it up.
Epic is making this game exclusive. Other people were already spending money on it, on not the Epic store, and now they have to figure out how to get those people their money back. They delayed the game by 2 months to add stuff to it, and that's fine.
Yeah,
whatever.
sure, whatever.
But, you know, yeah, another...
I find that the Epic Store is quite
force.
easy to manage if you route everything through Steam.
But then you have to run both. That sucks.
Yeah. Do you have the what game is it? The Tetris thing on here?
No. Tetris Effect is exclusive on PC.
Yeah, it's exclusive on the Epic Store for PC.
Yeah.
But did you know what you have to have on your PC as well to turn it on?
Steam.
Yeah. That deal, to me, that shows how fast and loose these deals are getting signed. They don't even care that the game requires Steam to boot in VR. Just make it exclusive. Yeah, whatever, it uses Steam. Whatever.
The player will figure it out on their end, and if they don't, here's all the money.
Yeah, it's like every time somebody asks a question, they feed them a $1 million bill.
Yeah, so
you know, they're just pushing the bill into their mouth.
So this is what Fortnite is paying for. This is where it's going. This is how it affects the rest of the industry. Not by, remember when we said like, whatever, game sales are affected by Fortnite because they've taken 70% of all the money spent or something like that. It was some crazy stat.
That's new money though.
Some insane stat of like Fortnite money is like compared to every other game money is like wild.
It's crazy. You know. It's crazy Fortnite's.
But like now it's like no. But now the Fortnite profit is actually
the Fortnite profit reaches out
and it's not taking the game away, but it's putting it behind a really annoying gate.
Yeah,
is what it is.
I've seen a lot of people treat this in a way that I think is smart and a good way to cool your blood pressure. Is I'll be waiting for the patched up, completely fixed up, like extra content version that will be dropping on Steam later. Or GOG or
see, but like Outer Wilds, we were just talking about it, and then you got to end that with
it's on the Epic Store.
Just deal with that if you want.
If you wanna wait, then the game will be slightly improved by the time you get there.
Hope you don't get spoiled in the meantime.
It's a relatively small indie game. As long as you don't talk to anybody about it, you're unlikely to actually get spoiled on it.
Well, it's slowly making its way up the ranks and getting talked about more and more.
Yeah, because it's the fucking shit.
Yeah, like it was. Like I said, the Xbox Game Pass blew it up.
I remember seeing like that game get picked up, and we talked about it, and we're like, yeah, so this game called Outer Wilds, whatever. Like, footnote, like, who cares? And now I'm like, oh, this stings, actually. This one's ooh, ah.
Well, MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries, God bless. Sorry to hear about
That's a real mercenary decision of them.
Warp, warp. That doesn't even, anyway.
It is, shut up. It works.
Understandably, some fans will be disappointed about the delay. Yeah, okay. Right.
I feel like for any big Kickstarter, that has like a real development team and publisher behind it, or not publisher but dev team, part of the pitch or part of the Q&A in the Kickstarter period has to be, are you going to take Epic's deal when they offer you the deal? Right.
That needs to be addressed in the thing from now on. Or how about you just take the Kickstarter and send the URL to Epic instead of the public?
Yeah.
Just, hey, Epic, would you like to kickstart this game? You are the only backer. There is one tier, and it's called Epic tier.
I think I brought it up like last week or 2 weeks ago. If Epic was just funding all of these games, no one would be upset
at all.
Everyone would be like, "Oh, that's great! They're making a bunch of cool games."
Yes, but they're not. They're waiting for existing games that people are excited about and poaching them away.
It sucks,
you know. Which, you know, on any other circumstance, in any other case, like, no one gets as upset about exclusives on other things when the platform functions.
Yeah.
That's I keep have to bring it back to that, because it is true that it is possible to get, like, I mean, God, I can feel the exhaustion of talking about this again.
Oh yeah.
I can feel the exhaustion of anybody that's like, get over it, guys. Can we move on to another topic? And it's like, I know, I'm right there with you.
There's a real stir.
And also, there's also the part where the more you harp on about it, the bigger a deal you make it seem, to the point where you start to sound like an entitled asshole.
Yeah.
Which is not what I want, and it's what you want, but it's not what I want. However, at the end, that's why I want to always redirect it to fix the thing.
I don't know. I think the consumer is entitled to certain things. And I think the Kickstarter backers in particular are explicitly actually entitled to know what is going on with the things that they back.
I agree. I guess I'm speaking to person who was hearing the 18th iteration of an Epic Store complaint.
We're gonna talk less about it, but we're gonna mention it just as often because it's not gonna slow down anytime soon. We're not even a year in to this,
so
we're not even at the big ones like Borderlands.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much like done thinking about Pokemon as far as that story goes.
I only have one extra one that's really fun. People dug up a quote from 2011 where they're like, oh, we could never have a game that doesn't have all the Pokemon in it. That's bringing your Pokemon forward from all the way back in Red and Blue. That's an integral part of the experience.
Is it the same guy?
Yeah.
Okay, well.
Of course it is. Masuda? And everyone's getting all fired up and is like, yeah, of course he said that. And he was right.
Well, in funner news...
Let's get some good... Hey, who wants some good news?
Dragon Quest fans, the Dragon Quest hero dropped from Smash, and not from Smash, into Smash today.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And we got the, did you watch the moves list?
Nah.
Okay. So, you know how all these DLCs are getting insane amounts of love?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
He gets a move list, right? Like a command wheel?
He gets the most moves of anyone in the entire video game.
Yeah.
Because he gets a chargeable fire spell. I didn't know the fire spell names in Dragon Quest followed like that naming convention, the nomenclature, but it's like the sound effect of the element is what the spell is. So whoosh, swoosh, and kawoosh or kaswoosh or whatever are the three tiers of wind spell. And then so you have whatever, up B wind spell, tilt fire spell, lightning neutral, and then down B command wheel. And the command wheel is like another 20 moves. And it's just all the other spells, it seems. It's so much. And like you see like 4 of the moves appear at random. And like you can select by using the shoulder pads which one you're gonna use.
Yeah.
And like some of them are like fucking instant kill, and some of them are like just a really good slash.
Okay.
Some of them are instant kill if you're metal. they're so particular and weird that it's almost like taking the whole like random thing. It's like building the random smashness into a character again.
Yeah.
You know.
That's fun.
What's up?
Try and get away from... No, I'm just like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Try and get away from items now.
It's his fucking move list, you know?
This character is item.
It almost reminds me of what Gene would play like if he were to exist, where there would have to be a dedicated wheel of all the rest of his moves,
right.
You know?
Yeah. Gene getting in Smash Bros. That's a fucking...
Or anything.
Yeah, or anything.
Like, if Gene got into Marvel, he would have that wheel, because that would be the only way to do it right, in my opinion. But also objectively. And speaking of Smash, speaking of Marvel, we can go right into that story. So we talked some time ago about when
Quite a ways,
there was leaks of like Venom and
Winter Soldier?
Yeah, and that whole phase of Marvel Infinite characters, and they showed a television on a on a table, and then the curtains in the background, people reverse engineered or reverse fucking detective to figure out that those are the same curtains that are in a picture of Filipino Champ's living room.
Oops.
So they figured out that he was the one that put out this information.
Guess what? It was. It totally was F Champ.
Well, I mean, hard confirmed. And that went away, and that was what it was. Well, anyway, this time he came back.
It's like whatever NDA he was under is clearly dead.
Except it's not, because all the footage is now gone.
Well,
the story exists.
He felt very confident talking on stream.
Might not have been the best idea, but nonetheless, the story exists. The footage is deleted unless people saved it, which they surely did. I'm sure.
So it's him talking about Marvel Infinite and how Marvel Infinite was slated to have 61 fucking characters in it.
Or we saw at least that many files for characters.
Yeah, there were slots.
Because some people are arguing that like the footage doesn't guarantee that that's what they were. That they're saying that could have been referencing something else. But he had a build with a dev kit that shows off
61 slots
and 18 stages originally planned. So this was supposed to be a big expanding roster in theory until it didn't do shit.
Yeah.
And that is sad because all it had to do was the same thing that Marvel 3 did.
I remember hearing that the idea was they put it out, but they were going to keep working on it and they were going to redo parts of over time, but then it died because it sucked.
Like, if they just re-released Marvel 3 and then added new character content packs,
that would have been great.
It would have actually been a better idea.
Capcom's fighting game division's been kind of a mess for a while. I was talking to
the Marvel tie-in wouldn't have liked that.
Yeah, I was talking to a friend of mine about SF5, which I really like, but everything about SF5 that isn't fighting another person in SF5 has pretty much been a mess the whole life of the game. And I just hope that
there's stuff that I like. I like the fact that they gave a shot at an MK style story mode.
Sure.
They just didn't do a good one.
I just mean the way characters roll out and the way that the fucking fight money shit got weird and complicated. It's like
but here's the thing, right? If you were to ask me what a new Street Fighter game should have coming off of 4, I absolutely would say you can earn money and spend that to buy characters instead of paying for it if you play it enough. You can you have a Mortal Kombat style story mode.
Yeah.
Seasons of characters that come in waves alongside balanced patches. You know what I mean? Yeah. All of that is shit that I would absolutely want. And then I'd even go as far as to say like little fun things in the story mode, like little guest characters and an arcade mode for just, quick single player fun. Like all of that shit, challenges, dailies, weeklies. Yeah. That's all shit that I would be like, that sounds great. So it's not about that to me necessarily.
I don't know. I feel like Street Fighter V has kind of been like weird the whole time. That's me on the outside of the SF5 community. Mm-hmm. Like it just didn't hit the way 4 did.
I think that as someone that was inside of it, what most of the people playing it got hit with, and I can see it, and I definitely agree. And it's, there is a sense of boredom that came from the normal state of play, right? The normal gameplay, there was like some boredom that came around from the crush counter sort of fishing and from the way that it became pretty optimal to just kind of stick to one game plan. A lot of people just kind of went like, yeah, we're still doing the same thing, and it's been about 5 years,
It's not a big evolution of it.
Not huge,
Because I remember even back at ST had like stages of evolution.
But there's fantastic things like season 3 was really, there was a lot of cool shit, man. We got Manat, we got Abigail, big old goof, bullshit Abigail.
Would you say
Cody's
that
rad?
The system doesn't allow a lot of room for player
G and
creativity?
Sagat's rad. At intermediate levels, you start to hit that like optimized ceiling that you usually hit a lot further in.
Yeah, that's not good.
Because it becomes very clear what you should be doing to win a lot earlier in your skill
I think
path.
I hit it, and I'm not good. Like, I'd play Abigail, it's like, I know what I should be doing right here. And I know what the optimum thing for me to do right here would be. I can't do the optimum thing because I suck.
And you shouldn't be doing anything else.
Yeah.
For that matter. But yeah. You know, I mean, like, there was just, like, that was kind of, like, some of the issue, really. But on paper, a lot of what they were doing is things that I would love to see come back. And whatever, we'll find out what happens soon.
I hope Monster Hunter Man does as good a job with Capcom's fighting games as he did with Monster Hunter.
I hope so too, but in the meantime, Marvel Infinite 61 characters makes me sad.
Somehow deader than it was before when I hear this.
Somehow, yet 61 characters looking the way they did. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Here's Gil, and he looks bad.
I mean, if this somehow freed up the way for Capcom versus Capcom, then God bless. It was all.
They should call it Capcom versus Capcom.
Exactly.
If they
And
ever
if not
do that game, I don't want Capcom All Stars. I don't want fucking whatever.
Everyone's got their theories about what we're going to be seeing next weekend at EVO as an announcement, and whether or not a new game is going to get dropped. And I don't know, but I would hope that the mysterious fighting game we heard about them working on a couple years ago, I hope that they drop that.
I have my suspicions.
The realistic fighter. Or CVC.
Nah, I'm not gonna.
So,
Capcom's got a lot of stuff coming out in the pipe.
Speaking of things in the pipe, IO Interactive, now that they are fully in charge of their destinies,
on their own.
Why do you keep doing this?
You keep doing it too.
There's a third Hitman title they're working on, but a brand new IP entirely as well.
Yeah.
So
totally unshocking that they would keep going with the new Hitmans, because the new Hitmans have been amazing and popular.
But they're making something else too.
Yeah. Spiritual successor to Freedom Fighters.
Hitman series following the girl that you save in Absolution.
Who cares?
Shut up! The new assassin.
Shut up!
She was set up to be the Natalie Portman.
Oh, who cares?
To his Jean Reno. Didn't you feel it? The passing of the baton?
No, because I didn't finish Absolution because it sucked.
There's like an assassin girl.
Oh, who cares? That game sucks ass. It's a bad Hitman game.
Well. Oh yeah,
it's a Hitman game in which the core plot is that the Hitman is framed for murder.
See, they haven't touched anything besides Hitman since Kane and Lynch 2.
Yeah, you're right. Freedom Wars, come on. Freedom Wars? Am I saying the right thing? Freedom Fighters. That game's awesome, dude.
Now, not the Outer Worlds, but excuse me, I already fucked it up.
Jesus Christ.
Do it. I'm done.
These two games, man.
The Outer Worlds, not the Outer Wilds.
The one by Obsidian
is coming to the Switch.
Really?
Oh, you missed that.
Yeah, I did.
This morning.
That's quite surprising.
Yep. And everyone's like, LOL, is this game going to run it? And it's like, it ran The Witcher.
Well, that's magic. And we still haven't seen that.
I mean, there's some footage.
Yeah.
It's running Witcher 3.
That's really quite crazy to me.
If the Switcher is running The Witcher 3, yeah, then there's no problem.
Are you all right?
I'm drinking my cold brew. If it can run that, then the discussion about what it can and can't do is over, in my opinion.
Well, the reason why is because the game that people associate with Obsidian the most heavily is probably still New Vegas, and New Vegas runs like a pile of fucking shit, and people have a lot of bad memories of that. But the Pillars games ran fine, right?
I'm gonna toss this behind
all
me.
the new RPGs they had ran fine. Like, it'll probably be fine.
Outside of, like, Bloodstained,
Yeah.
have there been any other huge Switch, like, shit versions?
No, but to be quite fair, there's a lot of games that skip the Switch. Like, for this Kickstarter stuff. So there isn't a lot. There isn't a lot to compare it.
MK11, WWE,
Yeah.
NBA.
It's the Wii U situation again.
Gotcha. So it depends on who's doing it,
Pretty much.
but it doesn't guarantee a doomed version just because it's on it.
Yeah.
So
We'll see.
yep. Outer Worlds.
Outer Worlds. That's a game I'm also extremely interested in that is also in space.
And even has a logo and planet and ship
It's a
style branding that makes it feel like it's the same
The
kind
first time, I don't know, I probably mentioned this. The first time I streamed Outer Wilds, for the entire 5-hour stream, I had people coming in and going, "Whoa! Outer Worlds eat early?" Because even when you look at the screenshot in Twitch of streaming now, it looks like the other game.
and your brain just edits out the eye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Outer Wilds was in development for 6 years, so they're in the clear on that one.
Is Private Division the porting team?
I have no idea. Remember, I didn't even know about the story until you mentioned it.
Oh, they're the publisher. From Take-Two Interactive's Michael Wars. Okay. Got it. Oh, they did also Ancestors, or are doing Ancestors. Yeah, whatever happened to that in Kerbal Space Program?
Oh, wow. I completely forgot.
Fucking Panache and Patrice Desilets.
Is he ever going to get to make another game?
I mean, he's working on Ancestors,
Is
isn't
he ever going to get to make another game?
He's making it. As far as I heard. Alright.
Did you say Herg?
Heard.
Okay.
I'm happy to hear that despite the fact that it really sounded like everything went as south as possible with Jonan Vasquez and the people that held the rights to Invader Zim, they found a way to have Invader Zim come back to Netflix as a movie, and that's cool.
That's cool. Everybody likes Invader Zim.
Invader Zim's great. Really funny. I love it. Love that. Really was hoping to get... well, it's been so long since the idea for what the conclusion would have been with the last season and then Invader Dib. But, whatever, man. I'm happy to see it. And I'm happy that they've got... I hope that all the voice actors can return. But in the meantime, in August, Invader Zim is back on Netflix.
Yay.
Sounded like Billy West was pretty done at the time. But, yeah. We'll find out more soon.
Oh, yeah. August is now.
That is now.
Hello, August. How you doing?
Then not much left. Just a little bit here and there. They leaked who the next and final Dragon Ball FighterZ character is going to be. It's probably Janemba.
I mentioned this 3 months ago.
Yay for Janemba. Boo for the Sausage Fest being complete.
Yeah, well, how the sausage is made. You know how the sausage is made? You put it next to another sausage.
And then you package them all together. And then you add another package.
Wait a second. Janemba's not even a guy. He's a fucking demon.
He's a blorb.
Yeah, he's a blorb to turn into a demon.
Yes. But now we have 21, 18, and Videl with help from boyfriend.
That's right.
And I'm like, what about the cauliflower Kefla?
What about it?
They would have been good.
How many Brolys do you need?
We're missing Bio.
Shut. Every time. Bio Broly sucks. Why is he so much weaker?
Broly questions.
Yeah.
That's what today's about. Today's about Broly questions.
Why is he so much weaker?
Still, I mean, look, I'm not saying Chi-Chi in the armor is going to make the cut. I understand that she doesn't. That's quite fine. I have no problem with Janemba.
Janemba's cool, man.
We're getting Vegito and Gogeta. Did we need both Brolys? We didn't.
We did. We needed both Brolys. His power's maximum. DBZ has a roster problem.
But it's the franchise, not
that's
the
what
titles.
I mean. Yeah. DBZ has a roster problem because instead of more characters, there are 35 variations of every character.
Are there more Gokus than there are, like... Hold on.
There are
there
so many Gokus.
Are there more Gokus than there are Saiyans, is what I wanted to ask.
Maybe.
Because it's not obviously not characters, but Gokus versus Saiyans.
Okay.
Let's take it from the top, chronological order.
Okay, do you want to do Saiyans first or Gokus? And are we talking about inclusion in the game or the story in general?
Let's say in the story and like practical for a move list.
Okay, so
because King Vegeta is not a move.
Okay, so there you have
Bardock.
You have Bardock. Start.
Raditz.
Right. Nappa. Goku. Vegeta. We're at 5. Trunks. Gohan.
Goten. Broly. Let's get the girls in there.
Okay.
11.
Oh, we're doing the alternate universes. So the
supers.
So the two girls. So that's 11.
Trunks.
Yeah, I said Trunks.
Future Trunks.
I meant Future Trunks. Who cares about young Trunks?
He's another person.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. That's
to
12.
me. He's literally walking in from another reality with a jacket on. I count it different.
Okay, that's 12.
Pan.
Okay, Pan's human.
Pan is half. Wait, am I stupid? Sorry. No. What am I thinking of? Not Krillin's kid, but Vegeta and but Trunks' sister.
Vegeta and Trunks' kid?
Not Vegeta and Trunks' kid. Vegeta and Broly's. Vegeta and Oh my god, I'm so stupid. Stop talking. All right, never mind. Bra? The baby bra?
It's a baby.
Yeah,
It's 13.
All right.
We're including babies and alternate universes.
Yeah, 13 if you include bra.
Okay.
I'm okay. I just couldn't remember bra.
Now
Relax.
In fucking DBZ Fighters, you have base Goku,
Kid Goku,
Goku,
Super Saiyan.
Yeah,
Super
Blue
Saiyan
Goku,
Blue, Rose,
Black Goku, other Black Goku.
Wait, what do you mean other Black Goku?
There's
No. There's Black Goku Black. Right?
Fine, Black
Goku Black. All right. You've got
Bardock's a Goku. In this scenario, he absolutely is.
You've got Super Saiyan 3. I mean, he's not in the roster, but I'm saying if we're doing you got Super Saiyan 3. You want to count 2?
Yeah.
All right. Then count 1, 2, 3. Okay, then hold on. Take it back up.
We're doing how many Goku forms there are.
Yes.
Okay.
So we got 13, right? 13. All right. Kid Goku.
1.
Ozaru.
2. 1, 2, 3. That's 5.
Regular.
6.
Right. Regular. Hold on. Regular Goku. We're not even at Super Saiyan yet. Regular Goku.
Okay.
Right. We can make barefoot teenage.
We're at 3 before
era,
any.
But fuck it. Right?
We're at 3 without any Super Saiyans.
1, 2, 3.
That's 6.
Vegito,
Gogeta. That's 8.
Blue, red.
Yeah, Blue Red. That's 10.
Possessed by Zamazu.
That's Black Goku. That's 11.
Ultra Instinct.
That's 12. That's 12 right. That's 12 Gokus right there. Are you making a distinction between Kid Goku and GT Goku Kid?
No, because GT Goku Kid is another Goku.
That's 13.
4. Super Saiyan 4.
Yeah, that's 14.
Powered up 4.
Fucking Omega Shenron Gogeta.
5.
That's 15.
15.
There are totally more Gokus than there are Saiyans.
And you can blast every version of GT Kid Goku into all of the above.
Yeah.
Or at least up to Super Saiyan 1. And
yeah, you're right. He can go SSJ3 as a kid.
Kid GT Goku goes Super
Saiyan.
Yeah,
there are like 16, 17, 18 Gokus. There are more Gokus than there are Saiyans, and we included babies and people from alternate universes.
Golden Ozaru.
Yeah.
Yep. There are more Gokus.
You could have a real fighting game with a big roster that's literally just all Goku.
There is a roster problem
in DBZ.
How do you make that not... Okay, well, here's
so in the Budokai games,
how do you make that not boring, right? In the Budokai games, you have one Goku and he goes through all the levels.
It's level,
you transform, right? But here's the other problem, right? And this is what we learned from Xenoverse and everyone who played a whole lot of Xenoverse.
Yeah.
I had the pleasure of sitting next to a Xenoverse tournament.
Yes.
That took place at a con I was at.
Were they spamming block?
They certainly were, and they were getting super hyped for anyway. Whatever. There's competitive Xenoverse out there. All right. So the problem is that those 15 Gokus on individual slots is exactly what the hardest core fans want.
That's what they want.
So who are we?
To
say don't do that?
Who are we?
Who are we?
I enjoyed a Dragon Ball also. My opinion has just as much value.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a series that was custom built to ruin its video games down the line.
You know what? You know what you should do? You know what you could do for those folks?
What?
Here's the level they care about that you could do. Make all of those Goku forms costumes.
Sure.
And make the final level 3 attack
be a different animation.
Be a unique animation
that is custom to that character's big thing.
Sorted.
Yeah. Except Xenoverse fans also get brand new, stupid, not real things that never existed and get excited for them.
Well, anyway.
And let's not even talk about Dragon Ball Heroes, where you have fucking Dark Broly and all that stupid shit. He's got an evil mask.
I wanted to say Budokai like early teen fighting Demon Piccolo Goku as a different one as well, but we don't have to get that.
Is that the one in World's Strongest?
That's the one where he has no blue undershirt.
Yeah, he looks good.
And he has no boots on.
Yeah.
That's the Goku we don't see enough of.
That's the Goku I believe in. The one that gets his fucking legs snapped by King Piccolo.
And he does the poses.
Yeah.
He does the martial arts. All right. And last, let's take it over to... actually, no, wait. Second to last. Kickstarter out there for anyone who's interested. Seems very pretty.
What's it called?
Sprite-based Helvetii with 2 eyes, so like Helvetica.
Yeah.
This is a 2D character action game lovingly made with hand-drawn art and animation based around Celtic, both. And Gaulish mythology. You can say both. I don't know why, but you can. Helvetii is when I looked at it, I watched it, I checked it out, and from looking at the gameplay, it seems very God damn it, I'm so bad with my memory, but it's that game that looked like the 2D Dark Souls thing with the guy with the cloak. And I played a bunch of it.
Death's Gambit?
Death's Gambit. It seemed very Death's Gambit to me. It has a little bit of that... You know that little flavor of Flash Jank?
I do.
Right? Where things... Like, it's hand-drawn animation, and it's tweened, but it's still squashing, stretching, and sliding a lot. It has that going on, in addition to Vanillaware style slidey things. But... it's pretty.
All
and
it does look quite pretty.
Yes. So that's out in Kickstarter, and if you think it is your steez.
I hit the Kickstarter page, and I did some searching on it, and there appear to be at least 1 or 2 details that have been left out of the Kickstarter campaign. Holy shit, fuck me, never mind. I went to the questions page, and much like I said earlier in this podcast, in the FAQ, question number 1, will this surely release on Steam, or will you pull the rug out with the Epic Games Store? We know this is the hot button question right now with Kickstarter, and yes, we fully intend to stick by Steam. We acknowledge that the Epic Games Store surely has good deals, but we acknowledge that we prefer to serve our players' convenience and comfort first, and Steam is by popular consensus a better option for that by far. So we'll absolutely stick to Steam. If we go by Epic Games Store, it will not be by any exclusive means. Last updated on Monday, July 29, 2019. I fucking knew it. Kickstarters absolutely are going to have to start fucking saying that right away.
You have to answer. Yeah.
So good. Hey, good on you, Helvetii, getting it out clear there. Because I was gonna make the joke. It doesn't say Epic on this list, but I eagerly await this game's exclusivity contract with the Epic Games Store. Right?
There are stands. He's calling out stands. I had to rewind it to make sure I was seeing correctly, but he appears to be summoning stands and using them to fight. There are different stands.
Looks cool.
All right. Yeah, you have to answer the question.
It's now going to come up the first time a human being can talk to anyone at a project. Every time. First thing.
Well, it is seeking... well, I have the Canadian money up here, so...
Yeah, it's 26k Canadian.
Looks like it's 26k Canadian, and it's at 9 of 26k, converted from CHF.
What the fuck is that?
I don't know.
Hey guys, what the fuck currency is CHF?
Never heard of that. Rupees? Kroner?
Why would it be rupees? How would CHF be fucking rupees?
Zenny? Swiss francs.
Swiss francs. Ah, weird.
How do you get those letters to turn into...
The Swiss have a weird language. I've never heard Swiss spoken.
Well, anyway.
That's because there isn't one. Haha! I tricked the dumber ones.
Is Canadian CAN, CA, or CDN?
CDN.
You know, it depends on where you look. It changes everywhere.
Yeah, well.
It's literally CA on the page we're looking at right now.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. All right, so that's Helvetii. And yeah, you don't really see a lot of Celtic and such lore. So that's cool.
The Welsh fuck sheep. This I have heard.
Dog-themed multiplayer action game, Play Dog, Play Tag, coming to PC via Steam Early Access. Japanese-based developer Project Pegasus.
It's called Play Dog, Play Tag?
Play Dog, Play Tag. 4 players. You are a dog. Your owner is ragdolling behind you. There is a...
Okay. I can already see the gang beasts looking...
You are a dog. There is a bandit. The bandit is getting away, and you have to catch him. So, you are running out of control with the split screen, and the
oh my god, that's hilarious.
And the dog in Play Dog, Play Tag, important buildings.
Oh god, what the fuck is this game?
Buildings do not count as obstacles.
You just blow through the buildings and they fly apart.
The woofers can crush through the entire city as a destructible object because you have the power to charge a dog rush and then run through the building to get to the thief.
This looks like Gang Beasts and like Goat Simulator together. This looks hilarious.
So your dogs are indestructible and your owners are fucked.
This reminds me of like the video game version of like that old internet skit Immortal Dog.
Play dog, play
Your
tag.
dog is heavy, his breathing loud. He stares at the sun, unblinking. You ever seen Immortal Dog?
No,
it's
I haven't.
fucking stupid.
Wow.
It's really good.
Wow. So yeah, I thought that was pretty strong. Coming to early access at some point this year.
That's
Play
cool.
dog, play tag.
Oh yeah, people in the chat know your dog is easy to kill.
Speaking of kill,
Yes.
let's kill off this podcast.
Hey!
With some questions.
Apparently I screwed up the email last week.
Don't do that.
Yeah, well. Wooly, where do you send an email in?
castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com.
That's castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com. And your email might be read on the air and possibly answered, or just like us go, I don't know, that's a good question though.
Or if you're a jerk, you use it to sign up for stupid shit.
Oh, you seeing that shit now?
Yeah, well.
Yeah, is it good?
Fucking Atkins.
Oh, okay.
Like, I don't know.
That's okay.
It's like, just type gibberish.
Yeah.
Type gibberish. What's the point?
Oh well. What do you got? What do we got this week?
I guess me acknowledging it is the point.
Yeah. You got! Ah!
Did I mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's an arrow click. You know?
Yeah, I don't know.
We got one coming in from. Let's take it from Christian. Says last minute Evo trip. They're CSB. Go to Vegas with my dad this weekend. He's got some reunion stuff to do. I mostly plan on dishing out online job applications. Texted a few FGC friends. Thinking of buying a badge for the second day. This is my third Evo. What's a solid way of trolling the Yo Video Games crew if I see them? From Christian. You just say hello. You can just say you appreciate.
That's the ultimate troll right there.
Say you appreciate
The Yo Video Games crew
their work,
hates being said hello
and
to.
that you look forward to the next episode.
Tell Kenny that Melina sucks.
You look forward to the next episode of Wooly Will Figure It Out.
Putting troll plugs into people.
Meow Bag. Down where it's stickier. They're Mega Ultra Super Castle Turbo Beasts.
What up, man?
We're gamers. We know the epitome of a setting for video game levels is the sewers.
Yeah,
They're all good. Well, we each have our favorites. What are your favorite or most hated sewer levels? For me, it's RE2. It's relatively short, but it has the best FMV. And most importantly, it did not make me want to stick my fingers in my eyes. Since I said RE2, Pat is now disallowed. Enjoy.
Well, my most disliked sewer level by fucking far is the one from Jesus, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, where you have to go find you gotta go find the Nosferatu. It just goes on forever. You know anything about fucking Vampire Bloodlines? It's a talkie game RPG. You talk with people. You have vampire adventures.
The one that's not Senko no Ronde.
That's right.
Yes.
Well, this part has
Senko no Ronde.
Wait.
Chino Rondo.
Jesus Christ. Okay,
You blew right past it.
I did? Okay, but this is like 2.5 hours of straight combat. And it's a game with bad combat. It sucks ass. I'm going to give a big shout out to Resident Evil 2 Remake sewer level, which is fantastic, and a great remix on the 3 or 4 rooms from the original. You tried to get me, but you failed.
Worst sewer level of all time? I'm still going to give it to Ninja Turtles.
That's not a sewer. You talking about the dam?
Yeah.
That's not a sewer. It's underneath the dam. It's a reservoir.
Come on.
Fuck you. It's not a sewer. It's a reservoir. Totally different.
Best sewer level? I'm going to give it to Royal Waterways. Hollow Knight.
Oh, yeah. It's good.
You don't think you're going down there.
Oh, it's good.
And then you do.
And then you go. And you
And
go.
then
And you
it
go.
go,
And you
and
go.
you-
And you go.
And then you hear it.
Yeah.
And you hear him.
Oh,
And he pops up. Yeah.
Oh, he's great.
Best sewer level. For sure. For sure.
That dude's great. That dude's awesome. Smells bad.
Hey, Punch Dad and Sluter Dad. I'm a veteran Destiny player since 2014, and I wanted to get your opinion on the infrastructure changes.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen any of the news about how Destiny is changing, here's 10 quick and easy things going down at Bungie. 1, they bought out of their 10-year plan with Activision.
They bought out. That's how it happened? That's interesting.
2, with the split, D2 is no longer on the Blizzard launcher.
Yeah, they're going to kick it over to Steam.
3, with the game moving to Steam, In a reveal stream for all this info, they made a joke about how they needed an epic platform to find the game.
Yeah. Oh, come on.
Destiny will be entirely self-published with no help from supporting Activision Studios.
Yeah.
The game will be rebranded under the name Destiny New Light and will be free to play for a year. For year one content. Excuse me.
So everything that you would have bought a box copy of Destiny off the shelf.
All DLC will be a la carte with no actual demand for previous expansions to play the current content like Curse and Osiris and Warmind. With that change comes big content drops for mini seasons that follow to bridge the game to the new title, DLC. The cash store Eververse will be 100% revamped, where you can buy everything Bright Dust, the in-game currency, and have actual activities and bounties provided.
They're basically gonna try and Warframe it, or
sounds a lot like that.
Yeah.
Bungie has completely gone into the MMO lane, saying that if the game walks like a duck and looks like a duck, it's a duck. Activision has been scared of the term for a long time.
So I'd like to go into slightly more detail on that because it's very indicative of the problems they had. Activision said we want okay, Destiny, cool, great, got it. Okay, you're gonna do Destiny 1, then you're gonna do Destiny 2, Destiny 3, and Bungie was pretty much the whole time be like, well, it's kind of like a long-running thing, and they wanted to have Destiny 2 have all the stuff from Destiny 1 in it, but dev time. So this is a big, like, forward-looking improvement in that it's like, it is an MMO. And if they're actually gonna start treating it like an MMO, that's quite positive.
In fact, it sounds like they had no problem with that, except Activision.
Activision was like, no, you put that shit out. And they got around some of it by putting out the big expansions that were boxed, kind of thing.
And lastly, cross save is finally here, so you can move your characters from PS4 to Xbox to PC and back.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
That's fucking excellent.
Yeah. Somebody asked me last night, do I have any plans on going in on Destiny 2?
It would have been there sooner, but they had holdbacks in the form of PS4 exclusivity in Activision.
Yeah, that makes sense. Am I planning to hit Destiny 2 up now that apparently we're in that Destiny part of the life cycle where it's good now?
By turning it into Warframe?
But no, it's actually just good now right now.
Okay.
And I don't know. The main thing that I was talking about is like, I play FF14 and I play Warframe. I don't think I have room for a third one of those types of
just
investments.
Raw bandwidth.
Right? Mm-hmm. There's only so many time for dailies in a day if I want to play other games. But I'm definitely going to keep my eye on it. I'm probably going to start it. I'm probably going to play it. I'm probably going to start a new character with the new stuff on Steam because I don't know. I'm totally disconnected from all the stuff that I did.
But they just added something there explicitly so that you don't have to.
Yeah, but it's tough to explain.
Also, it'll cost you nothing but time.
Yeah.
Interesting. Smart. Obviously, like so that's all your fucking.
I'm fascinated by. I guess the time that would tell me is like because now Destiny 3 doesn't have to exist, right?
I have a question.
They can just add to it.
Between all of the shooters,
yeah,
which end game aesthetics do you like the most?
When you say aesthetics,
like end game armor look to your dude, which do you like the most of them?
Warframe.
Which is the most satisfying?
Warframe, easy.
Okay.
You have by far the most control over your color and your look and your accessories and your little pieces, and it also has a very unique techno organic like Guyver look that none of the others have. Destiny 2's biggest problem is that the shader stuff and the way you look, it was so hard to actually control.
Because I the other day I saw that I was looking at some Digimon, go figure.
Yeah.
And I realized something. I hate the way every Digimon looks in its starting form.
Every single one.
And the way it ends up is better than every Pokemon.
Yep.
Out there ever made.
Like they all look like they all look like Pokemon for pussies at stage 1, and then the end stage is a fighting game character.
It's actively get it away from me,
Yeah.
and then get in harder than ever before.
Yeah. But you got to go through the baby stage.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's like it's all, and the funny thing is, like, it's almost like it's not even the baby stage. It's like the larva stage, right? Bulbasaur is
cool.
It took a couple years to get there, but it looks like a Bulbasaur.
Yeah.
Like, this is what if you were looking at a
bulb.
The bulb with the face on it.
Yeah.
You know? Like the embryo
Bulbamon.
version. And it jumps around and goes, Mah!
Yeah.
You know?
I'm adorable.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's interesting. We got one coming in from Dwayne says, "Dear Beast Boy and Boy Beast.
Yo, man.
I was re-listening to an older podcast in my commute, and I heard Willie talking about the earliest iterations of Netflix. Got me thinking about my experience with it. I was a junior in high school, and around 2011-ish, my mom came with this new service she wanted to try. $5.99, you'd send DVDs in the mail with unlimited streaming. Skip. We opted in for the early streaming aspects on my 360. Now, early Netflix was a trip because it had lots of B-movies, noticeable TV shows, very few noticeable TV shows at first, but they were getting better. The filtering system was really bad. I found softcore porn and horror and comedy all in the same sections.
Yeah.
The most notable things, though, my friends and I always talk about, is that it had an integrated party feature. When navigating in Netflix's interface, you could invite friends. It would create a party with whichever friends you invited. Up to 8 would gather together, and your Mii's would show up in a little virtual theater, and you'd watch the same movies together.
That's cool, actually.
There was even a throw popcorn button where you could throw shit at the screen. It disappeared after one update and has never been mentioned or re-implemented in any way since. Yeah. Sounds to me like the people who were licensing their movies out did not want you to share that content with people, as in the thing that it says at the beginning of a movie you buy for home use is this is intended for home use.
Well, but you could, the only people who would be able to do that would be people who also have subs to Netflix, right? Like, that's the way around it?
Ooh, I don't know. I mean, if it's the software, then I guess it would be right, yeah.
Because there's a new... somebody,
that's true.
Somebody linked me to a YouTube link thing that was basically the ability to... You'd send a link to somebody, and then you'd feed it YouTube videos, and then it would like play the YouTube videos at the same time for everybody watching that link. Yeah. And we were using it to look at like stupid memes and shit like that.
We've seen those. But what if you have British Netflix and I have Canadian Netflix and you watch a show I don't have?
Well, I guess you can go shove it, licensee holder.
I guess so. Because it's Rich Presents. Remember Rich Presents?
You fight to get the word Rich Presents out of your mouth every time you can.
Once a year. Rich Presents.
Whoever thought that title up had their fucking whole head up their ass.
I want to blame it on Peter himself. I want to blame it on Peter Moore. I want to say he came up with it. It feels like he came up with it. Feels like a Mooreism.
If anybody works at Microsoft at that era and knows who came up with the term Rich Presents, please contact Willie or I to let us know if their whole head was up their own ass.
See, it's like, you know, like how they have like rich text. You know, it's like my presence. I'm here, like I'm present in front of you, but it's enriched because you
okay, let me ask you a question. What's worse? What is worse to you? Like a feature having some fucking fap name like that, like
blast processing,
right? Or hey, we're just getting Windows ready for you. We'll be ready in just a second. We're just tidying up a few things. That fucking conversational UI language.
Hold just a few more things.
Tell me what you're doing. Show me a list of programs that are being... I hate it.
Just run DOS. Just run fucking DOS and show me files as they appear as you touch them.
I hate it so much.
Okay. I had no problem with conversational UI until I hit that one that said, hey man, give Microsoft Edge a chance.
Shut up. It doesn't actually say that.
When you search with Bing Edge, whatever the fuck, when you search with the browser,
Bing Edge.
When you search with Bing Edge, for Google Chrome, a pop-up goes, your browser might not still be Microsoft Edge browser. Fucking, do you want to make sure that it still is?
Yeah.
You want to keep edging, bro?
No, I don't want to keep edging.
You want to keep edging?
I don't want to edge.
You've been edging for a while.
I don't want to edge my Bing, sir.
I think you should keep edging.
No, well, I'm done with the edge.
Good things happen when you edge.
All right, come on.
There's a leak when you edge for a memory leak.
Yeah.
If you edge for too long.
Yeah, there's a memory leak on your Bing.
So you then download it and you install Chrome and then you like switch the browser in your fucking thing. Yeah. And then in Chrome's instructions, it pops up and literally has a blurred message that says step 1, install Chrome. Step 2, go to browser defaults.
And
step 3, ignore the message and click yes, I'm sure. And it blurs the message out and just shows you the words, yes, I'm sure.
Okay.
And you're like,
why would you blur
Google,
that out?
What is this message?
Yeah, that's weird.
And then you do it, and the message is like, hey, man, give Microsoft Bing Edge a chance. There's new features you might not even know yet.
So
show me more, or yes, I'm sure.
So
and that is when I went, this needs to stop. So this is sad.
I was annoyed by it for a long time. And then the point where annoyance turned into outrage was when, I don't know if it was on an Xbox at work or if it was my own PC, but I caught the phrase, oops, something went wrong. And let's try and fix that. We couldn't figure out what it was. And then nothing. And then nothing. Not even an error code. Fuck off.
I encountered that when I was working on compliance when we had early-ass X-Bones.
Get the fuck out.
Because that's what their messaging all turned into. So you would have a crash, and then it would just say, oops, something went wrong. And you're like, well, thank God for the crash dump.
Yeah.
Because, like, you can attach that to your bug.
You're using a dev kit, yeah.
And you're using a dev kit. But what the actual fuck on the user end is...
What am I supposed to fucking do? Nothing?
Yeah. So, I'm going to say that just edges it out. But rich presence and blast processing...
That kind of shit.
And so on will always have a special place in my heart. Especially when the years go by and you haven't heard it in a long time because it never took off. But boy, did they try.
They tried internally? Like, really push it? Push that richness?
I mean, they pushed it on stage. They didn't need to go internally.
Oh, they did?
Internally, that's where it came out.
I don't even remember.
Like, internally, it's like it's a guideline, so you're going to be writing guideline bugs with it. Fuck. You're writing compliance bugs with it. So, yeah, that feature fucking...
My computer talking down to me when it's failing is not something I need.
And of course, it wouldn't have happened if Microsoft didn't decide as well that like Xbox and Windows 10 and everything should have all the
same guts,
exactly, yeah, and Metro and so on. My dead computer reinstalling all my shit makes me realize why I never want to fucking update Windows and why I'm installing Win Update Stop.
Yeah,
it's like the only time things go wrong is when you restart it. I leave my shit on, yes. Because that's the only time things go wrong. Anyway, last one coming in from Daniel says, Dare Wolshikage Kira and Patsuke Higashikata.
I can live with that.
A couple months ago, my friend finally got into watching Death Note for the first time, but when he finished it, his first thoughts were that he wished Light got away and sympathized with his ideals. Your
friend's a psychopath.
After trying to explain to him that you aren't supposed to root for Light at all, he finally realized that he was a monster.
That's good.
Has there ever been a show, movie, or literature that you recommended only to have someone miss the point entirely? I'll tell you what. Light, at least at the start, to me represents that feeling you get when you hear about, like, some asshole that
some grave miscarriage of justice.
Yes, right? And you're like, the system failed.
Yeah.
And the
now
victims...
it's time to put my skull shirt on.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
The victims failed, and yeah, now we got to do it. We got to do it ourselves. That's what he represents, right?
That's not what he ends up as.
But that's certainly not where it goes, exactly. And that beginning feeling is certainly where... that beginning feeling is kind of like... It's that base first reaction that you have that makes you want to go, okay, you know when the dad jumps over the fucking bailiff to get at the murderer in the courtroom?
Yeah.
And everyone's...
And while that is wrong to do, no one's mad.
And everyone's like, bailiff, take him out of here.
Remove this man from the courtroom.
At your pace.
Yeah.
You know, the type of... It's that. It represents that part of your brain. And then you're supposed to override that with, like, no, you know.
Society and rules.
Yes, right. Well, that doesn't turn off for some people, I suppose. And then they follow through with light all the way to the end, and that's not great.
I recently had... a significant annoyance as a result of my FF14 streams where there's understanding where a villain comes from, and then there's sympathizing with them.
Yeah.
And I was running into the situation that was the word-for-word equivalent of Griffith did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
And people going, how could you not sympathize with this character? Don't you get it? Wouldn't you do this to livestock? And I'm like, you need to look at what you're actually typing and think for a second here.
Yeah.
Because all of you are coming off... You're trying to be compassionate, and you're all coming off as fucking psycho mass murderers.
Okay.
Like, when there's a story like Shadowbringers or Berserk or Death Note... and you hear someone come out and go, I don't get it. Blank did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
You need to move away from that person fast.
Yeah. I mean, even if, right, everything else in Death Note, like, remained as is, there's an inherent problem. Like, you don't even have to appeal to, societal harmony and altruistic virtues,
whatever, yeah,
to arrive at the conclusion that you probably shouldn't go the route of the Death Note, because wrongful conviction is enough for you to be like,
mistakes happen.
You might heart attack somebody that did nothing.
Mistakes happen,
straight up.
Yeah. And
if that person gets, like, if it's just a matter of you're reported on the news as a criminal, therefore you gotta go, you know, then it's like...
So that story makes way more sense when it takes place in Japan for a Japanese reader.
When the conviction rate is...
When the conviction rate is 100%. 100%. And everybody that goes to jail is guilty.
If you get caught, then that's the end of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Getting caught is guilt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Like, it's one of those things. It's like, yeah, but now put it in the context it was written for. You're like, you know, hey... And then you get the people who are outside of that context and go, well, it's totally worth it anyway.
also, framing somebody is like fucking...
the best. Somebody of shoplifting?
This world rules.
They just drop dead. Bam!
This world fucking rules for framers. Yeah, 100%. You know, so there's that problem. And then, but what the stories usually are supposed to do is take it from a place where you can sympathize to a place where... then they go too far, or...
It's supposed to be that the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Yes. Light Yagami didn't want to start killing cops, but then he did.
Those cops had to go.
He was standing in the way of justice, right?
What are you going to do?
Fight justice?
What?
A really great recent one is, hey, you know who had a pretty shitty deal?
Who?
Killmonger.
Yeah, he had a terrible deal. He got screwed over.
And him basically going... Yo, Wakanda, fuck you.
Yeah.
Is super warranted.
Totally.
You secretive assholes.
Worldwide race war.
But then you take it over.
Worldwide race war.
No, but 1 + 2 does not
equals a worldwide race war.
You didn't get there. Okay.
Race war forever.
No. You know, that's what it is, man. Like, so yeah, the whole sympathizing thing is like, if the story does its job, there's gonna be a point where they swerve where you can't follow.
You're like, okay, okay, wait a second.
Mm-hmm. Unless from the get-go you're just all on board.
Which is its own problem.
Or if the story intends it, like Ocean's 11, you never for a second want to see them get arrested.
Why not? Steal, let's rob it.
Rob
the thing. Come on.
Like, George Clooney's so smooth, he's smiling and dancing. Let him rob the place.
I want to rob the place.
Let him rob the place. Just let him steal the money.
Steal it. Who's going to lose the money? MGM Grand?
Casinos? all the insurance?
Who cares?
Just crime.
Just, come on.
Let him crime.
Oh, come on. It's fun. It's like Lupin.
100%.
What's Lupin going to steal this week?
Big crime. Super on board for the crimes of Ocean's 11.
Yeah.
You might even get a story where you pick your character select street in the beginning, crime or no crime.
Yeah.
Like Infernal Affairs.
Yeah.
Or The Departed. What do you want? Which version of the story you want to go with? Crime?
Yeah, crime.
All right, we do the crime one.
Okay, the crime's fun.
Feels good.
Yeah, let him do the crime. I don't even know which character you're referring to when you say crime or no crime in Infernal Affairs.
I mean, part 1.
Yeah, but which is the crime person? Which is the not crime?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Anyway, so that's how that's supposed to work. But if you don't get off the ride and then the credits are rolling, you need to stop and reevaluate your own systems of justice and belief.
This story's really awakened something in me. I think I should write a manifesto.
Just because you're an asshole and you write for a long time doesn't mean we need to call it a manifesto.
That is a fantastic quote that I hope people actually use in the future. You have cut to the heart of that shit. Good job.
You know the first time when they did that because of the Oklahoma bomber.
Yeah.
They did that and put it out so that they could help find the piece of shit.
Yeah.
And that was the whole point of putting it out.
Yeah.
Not just to be like, hey, look. Anyway.
And then they found him.
By doing that. Because it had a purpose.
And he was like, oh, you got me.
Because there was a reason. Anyway.
I think his brother turned him in or something.
Exactly. Because he recognized the writing.
Yeah.
So there was a point to putting that out there.
Yeah.
And not just fucking selling newspapers or whatever. Anyway. All right. What's going on?
I'm just streaming over at Angriest Pat on Twitch TV. It's twitch.tv/Angriest Pat. That's tomorrow and Friday and Saturday. Come hang out.
Gonna record some shit tomorrow, but I'm pretty much leaving for Evo right away. I get like a day here and then I'm out. So in the meantime, though, stuff continues schedule-wise. So, yeah, upcoming videos include Jojo Jeopardy's up right now.
Yeah.
The Outer Wilds will be going up. There will be more Bayonetta. And I want to say... Let me just 100% for certain confirm.
Confirm something.
If it is up and it is going to be released... as the spinny spin loady loads.
I'm just looking at stupid shit on my phone while Wooly does this.
Nope. Not done yet. Okay. Well, a little bit more time in the oven for some other stuff.
Oh, yeah? You got something special cooking?
Just shit not edited yet. But yeah. And yeah, we'll, if you're down at Evo, come hang out. Say what's up. I'm definitely going to be walking around. I'm going to be entering a couple things. Please don't. If I'm playing at my pools, please let me play at my pools. Please.
He needs all the help he can get, guys.
But if I'm not at my pools, let's hang out. No problem. And as usual, I'm probably going to be hanging out at Max's panel as well because that's always a super fun time. So come say hi. Me and Reggie are going to be there. And otherwise, check out Wooly Versus on Twitch and YouTube.
All right, podcast's over. Bye.
That's a dunny. Shit.
What?
It won't.
Close the button.
Fuck.
What'd you do? Are we still live?
Yes.
Should I put my dick away?
Okay, there we go. All right.
What, OBS just wouldn't close?